Hello, everyone. Decided to come on here a little bit early to make sure I had all the technical stuff straight, which I'm sure I don't. But just wanted to see if I'm broadcasting where I should be and you can all see me and respond to me and blah, 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 blah. All that good stuff. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Works in the Netherlands. Well, that's good. At least we got an audience in the Netherlands. That's good to know. Sean will be on here in about 15 minutes, but I wanted to go ahead, like I said, just to go ahead and get this going on here so that I knew what was going on. I don't do a lot of these on StreamYard, which I think I probably will from now on because it seems a little easier and more than a little bit more user friendly, which is good. So, sure. How's everybody doing tonight? Well, there's 6 people, so there's not a whole lot of people yet, but of the 6 people that are here, good to see you. Oh, thank you, Hope Katie Cole. I appreciate it. I think the documentary turned out really good, but then again, I'm a little prejudiced in that regard. But oh, the dentist, yeah, that was a fun one to work on. Anytime I get to work with Brian Usna, it's always a trip. I've done a lot of work with Brian over the years, and it seemed like there for a while that was all I was doing with Brian Usna movies, because between Dennis 1 and 2, I was working on the Silent Night, Deadly Night films, and he directed 4 and produced 5. And then I've done Bride of or not Beyond Reanimator and Dagon and Dolls and From Beyond, and I'm pretty sure there's a couple others in there too. So yeah, my holiday was pretty good. Overall, it was pretty pretty decent. Thanksgiving is really more or less just an excuse to have a good meal. No, we have not sent review copies out there. Aaron Fry, how are you? Yeah, we're getting snow here finally. We're supposed to get several inches of snow here in Detroit, so winter is upon us, which is delightful. I tried to deny it as much as I possibly could, but no, no, no. Winter is coming and winter is here, which I am not thrilled about. But then again, I've been living here for 25 years now, so I don't want to say I've gotten used to it, but I've learned not to complain a whole lot about it because it's not going to change a fucking thing. So actually, all I can do is hear this in your voice. I'm going to need you to send me my damn review copies now, right now. 7 inches in Chicago. That's about what they're predicting here, which, you know, whatever. At this point, we've had first year I was here in around Thanksgiving, actually, of the first year I was here, we got like a foot of snow, as I recall. It was our like 11 inch. It was a lot. And as an introduction for me, it was like, hi, welcome to Michigan. Get ready to not enjoy your winters very much. But when is the next Red Shirt release? That'll be Hearts of Darkness and then Hunter's Blood, which is, we're waiting on getting the packaging out the door. The problem with packaging is we use a lot of the same people that the other companies use, and as you can imagine, they've all got a lot of big releases coming out right now. So it's like waiting your turn in line. And but the quality of the packaging is so good, it's like you understand why you have to wait and everything. I need to do a documentary on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Actually, I would love to, but there's some complications in making that happen, which is unfortunate because I think the making of that movie is more interesting than the movie itself, even though I actually kind of like that movie now. But unfortunately, there's just a lot of It's just a lot of stuff. It's just a lot of stuff. But anyway, so we got about 10 minutes until Sean should be showing up, and then we'll get started. I was, I'll talk more about why, what inspired me to do this when we get on, but I'm looking forward to having this discussion because, growing up, my first 11 years were in Southern California. And so those were certainly formative years in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of things, my heart still is of that world. But it's better than the original, that's for sure. I'm not quite sure I can get on board with you on that one, Katie. Or Hope. I don't know which one to call you there. Hope, Katie Cole. But I can't quite go with you on that. But I think Chainsaw Next Generation gets more shit than it deserves. I definitely feel that, especially when compared to some of the later Chainsaws. But it's been an inconsistent series, to say the least. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Stuart, I'm going to be making a post about Stuart Andrews very shortly. I just haven't really known what to say. I knew Stuart for years. I did a lot of podcast recordings with him over the years. Hadn't seen much of him the last few years. He moved out of Toronto into a smaller city, a little distance away from Toronto. And I just, the pandemic we used to have some regular get-togethers that the pandemic kind of killed, and we just never really got back onto it. And he kind of receded from social media to some degree because he was a very, very outspoken person. He saw a lot that was wrong with the world, and he wasn't afraid to let people know what he thought of it. And God bless him for it, because he had the unerring capacity to be right a lot of the time. Pretty much all the time. But it didn't win him a lot of friends in some quarters, and it seemed that he was kind of retreating from a lot of interactions with people in the later years, and I didn't speak with him very much. I can't even remember the last time I did. It was probably just a couple of years ago. But, yeah, I really, he was a good guy. He was a really good guy, and someone whom I very much, I don't know. Yeah, that was a real shock, because I didn't know apparently no one, and really even outside of his, inner circle, really knew that he was ill, and so it was a real shock to get that message the other day that he'd passed away. But I will have something to say, certainly, about him very soon. He's a little hard to kind of put into words, because he was such a standout individual to me, and he has such a specific place in my memory, and I really admired him. And there was a lot of times where he kind of altered the way I looked at news and the way that we take in information through the internet and through news media. And he kind of, I don't want to necessarily say opened my eyes, but he sort of reaffirmed that, boy, you really can't trust much of anything out there, and you're getting lied to and deceived and sort of brainwashed by a lot of the media out there, and the government, and just the things that you take in through the internet on a daily basis. And he was right. He was absolutely right. But it caused him to kind of lose patience with a lot of people, and I think there was some folks that sort of dropped out from his circle as a result. I wasn't one that did. We just didn't talk all that much. But then again, I think that was the case with a lot of friends of his. It just sort of kind of went quiet, and now he's gone. And I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss him a great deal. I had a lot of respect for him. He actually did a couple of commentaries for me with George on Dark Half and Monkey Shines, and we had a lot of adventures together over the years. And I'm gonna really miss him a lot, an awful lot. We're coming up on it here. Got about 5-6 minutes, and it's just going to be a kind of a loose conversation. I'm excited to talk to Sean, because as it turns out, he and I grew up very close to one another in California. I had no idea really how close until I saw, because I was watching a video he did the other day on the closing of the Westminster Mall, And my grandmother lived in Westminster. And I was like, well, where did he live? And it's like, he lived in Stanton, which is sort of just up the road from Westminster on this one major artery throughout a lot of these cities called Beach Boulevard. And I have a feeling that he and I are going to recognize and remember a lot of the same places because I left in 84, right at the end of 84, and he was there throughout all of that. So there was a whole period there where he and I were, I wouldn't be surprised if we were in some of these same locations at the same time. And I'm sure that's going to come up in the conversation. Yeah, J.M. Logan did an interview for me on Next Generation. Yeah, he was great. All the cast and crew that I got to talk about Next Generation were great. Absolutely great. I just had a lot of problems on that Blu-ray because of some long-standing issues with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger's participation, but not them specifically. I don't think either one of them has a problem with the movie at all, but people in their orbits still to this day do, which is odd for me because it's like, they're both Oscar winners and have made their bones. You don't need to worry about this little chainsaw movie causing any problems for them. And I hate to break it to you, they've both made worse movies than Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. But, you know, McConaughey talks about it whenever it comes up. Renee Zellweger's talked about it. And neither one of them's like, oh, I don't want to speak. You know, it's ridiculous. But, you know, oh, well. Maybe one of these days I'll bump into one of them and say, hey, let's really get this on the record about that movie. And she said, oh, sure, why not? You know, it's my guess is how they'd respond. No one's pretending that Texas Chainsaw Massacre: Next Generation is a masterpiece. Least of all, Kim Henkel. But it's a film that got thrown under the bus, I think, in a way that was really unnecessary. And it disregarded a lot of the hard work that everybody put into that movie. And it's unfortunate that it has gotten a reputation. A lot of its reputation is based around the way that it came out. And that's not really fair. At least I don't feel it's fair. But then again, I'm weird. So, you know, what are you going to do? All right. Where are you guys watching through? I'm just curious. Are you watching through Facebook? Are you watching through YouTube? Give me a sound off on where you're watching it, because I'm broadcasting to YouTube and I'm broadcasting to Facebook. So that I just need to make sure that they're going. At least you're able to comment and watch these things through there. Watching through YouTube, okay. Watching on YouTube, Facebook. Okay, good. So there, you can comment and you can watch. So that's all I need to know. Do you think there's such a behind the scenes video recorded for the dentist like Next Generation? I don't think so, because I asked when I was doing the Blu-rays. There might have been some by somebody else and I just didn't know about it, but there wasn't I don't think they had someone like there's that full-length documentary on Next Generation that was made while they were making the movie. And I wasn't allowed to use that because Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey obviously were in it. And again, there was just this, we cannot admit to their being in this movie. It's just fucking ridiculous. I'm on the it should be the Red Shirt Pictures channel on YouTube. You should be able to find it pretty easily. I've got a couple of videos on there. I haven't done a lot of work on my YouTube channel. That's got to be honest with you. But then again, you know, it's to be expected. I haven't updated my own website in a while too. I just looked at the last thing I have on there was listed for 2023. I got to get that thing updated. Usually I do that around this time of year because a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there, just taking the whole month off, essentially. It seems like from Thanksgiving all the way through New Year's, it's hard to get anybody to do anything, which I guess, to a certain point, but it makes it a little frustrating when you're trying to wrap things up or, God forbid, get started on a project. But, yeah. Hello, Joe. Any new Vestron titles? Yes, I'm the obviously Hider in the House just came out, which I was very, very happy with. They did a new transfer of that and everything, and it looks really great. The director came in, signed off on it. And I am working on another one right now, actually. I can't tell you what it is, but it's a really good one. And it's not that old a movie, but it's certainly one that fits very well with the line, and that I think people are going to like. Ginger did, man. Yeah, I don't know if Gary Busey is a little hard to pin down. Let's just put it that way. I would love to do Stepfather 3. I'm a big fan of that movie. I mean, it's goofy and it's not the most original film in the world, but it does have some really great touches, and I love the ending of it because it's a definitive ending. You know, they weren't afraid to say, okay, we're not going to make, if you want to do a Stepfather 4, we're not going to make it easy on you. And the guy that got to play the stepfather in that movie, Robert Whiteman, the idea that the character would get plastic surgery to change his face made perfect sense because he changed his appearance every time he went for a new family. So at some point you can't put on another beard or another hairpiece or put on a mustache anymore and expect to get away with it. So it makes sense he would change his appearance. And the actor Robert Whiteman did a really good job of still capturing some of Terry O'Quinn's mannerisms while still bringing a little something new to the party. And I thought he did a good job. The director on that, Guy Magar, who did Retribution, which is coming out in an uncut version at last from Severin, I thought did a really good job with Stepfather 3. I mean, is it one of the greatest sequels of all time? I wouldn't go that far, but it's certainly worthy of the other two, I think, in its own way. Uh-oh, we have someone here. Hello.
Hello.
Greetings. How was your Thanksgiving?
Kind of uneventful. I was working around the house all day. Didn't even really feel like it was Thanksgiving. Didn't watch any TV.
Yeah.
We had made a reservation at some restaurant we'd never been to before that had like a big Thanksgiving kind of menu that was basically one price, and they it was good, man.
Was it?
Yeah, it was called what was it called? Boss. I'd never heard of it. But it was kind of fancy-ish, not like super nice, but like, the hell was it called?
Not a cafeteria per se.
Boss something. No, hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that restaurant called? Boss what? Okay. All right. It would drive me crazy if I.
No, I know how that goes.
It was called Boss Cat.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was like $50 a person, and they brought so much stuff out. Like they gave us the menu, and I was like, oh wow, there's like 8 different sides, and then there was turkey, there was ham, and there was salad, and there was a choice of 2 desserts. And I'm like, oh, I wonder how many sides you get. And they're like, oh no, you get all of it. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, no, we couldn't even come close to finishing that.
I wouldn't think so, no. But that's good that you had options at least. Oh, that's great. No, I just did lunch, or excuse me, I did dinner over at my mom's house. She moved up here last year, so I was able to have family dinner. Traditionally, Thanksgiving has not been my favorite holiday, mostly because I've had a couple of really bad life events happen right on or the day after Thanksgiving. So it's just like every time around this year, I get like, okay, I don't want anything else to happen during Thanksgiving.
Imagine how the turkeys feel.
Well, yeah. Well, and I've got wild turkeys that roam around my neighborhood from time to time, and they're assholes. Yeah. They chase after cars and they harass people. So I'm like, you know what? I don't feel any guilt about eating you fuckers at all. You know, so, but I want to thank you for joining me tonight, because I was watching, for those of you who haven't seen it, I would encourage you to go to Sean's YouTube channel and watch his video on the last day of the Westminster Mall out in Westminster, California. And it inspired me to want to talk to you about those days, because for the longest time, I mean, I knew you were from Southern California, but I didn't realize for the longest time how close you and I were, because I lived there I was born in 73 in Fullerton, and I lived in La Mirada. And I didn't realize how close you were to me because my grandmother lived in Westminster.
Okay.
And so I would go to see her a lot and all the time. And Beach Boulevard was sort of like my artery to all the cool stuff. And so when I realized you lived in Stanton, I went, holy shit, I would drive right through Stanton to get to my grandmother or to several other places that we would go all the time. And so I have a feeling that you and I have a lot of shared places that we went to as kids. Because I moved away the day after Christmas in 1984, went to North Carolina. But from 73 on, I mean, but those early 80s years in particular, I have just such vivid memories. And the shop, you remember mall culture, I'm sure, very much the same way I do. It was so ingrained in us as kids. And it was such a part of where we wanted to go and where we would go and what we would do. And what we would always want to go to the mall. We want to go to the mall. And I was just curious about when you first was the Westminster Mall, what would you consider your mall?
What I consider Westminster Mall, my mall?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. It was the favorite mall. I mean, in that area, we would go to Buena Park Mall, was probably number 2.
I went there
and sometimes the Huntington Center, which got torn down, is now called Bellaterra. And like South Coast Plaza was always too posh. And then Orange Mall sometimes I would go to. The City Mall. If you know the City Mall, that was also in Orange.
I don't know if I went there or not. I do remember the Orange Mall. I do remember that one.
And
but
then
I didn't
there
get to
was
that one very often.
Anaheim Plaza, which was also an indoor mall that got torn down and rebuilt as an outdoor thing. So
never went to that one.
So I think Orange Mall's been torn down now.
Yeah.
The City Mall's been torn down, and where the City Mall was, they built the Block. It's called the Block. It's now an outdoor mall. So basically, and then after you left, when I graduated high school, I had moved to South County, and that's when I kind of discovered like Laguna Hills Mall, and which has also been torn down, and
I know that's
Mission Viejo Mall, which is still doing pretty decent. So,
well, my mall obviously was the La Mirada Mall, which was an odd duck of a mall if there ever was one, because it started off life as an outdoor shopping center that they then demoed a couple of the big anchor stores and created an enclosed mall for some of it. Some of it was still outdoor. I mean, nothing about that mall ever made sense. And as a kid, it used to frustrate me that it didn't have a lot of the stuff that the cooler malls had. And it didn't have a bookstore. It didn't have a regular record store. It did have one later, but it was really small. And it was just, but it had it had 3 or 4 things that were, thank God it did have. And number 1 was the movie theater, which was also odd. And I think you encountered some of this as well. Originally it was a 4-screen, and then they added 2 screens later. But they didn't add them next to the other 4. They were across the walkway on the other side because they were 2 70mm houses. And that's where I saw all Raiders of the Lost Ark 10 times, E.T., or Temple of Doom, and all the big films, Return of the Jedi, all those movies were in, and they were the biggest damn screens. I remember we sat to see Star Trek 3. I was a front row junkie, so I would sit in the front, and my dad said, I can't do that ever again. And the credits came up, and I'm doing, also starring Dame Judith Anderson. It's like, I can't, Mike, I can't do that again. It's like, okay, I promise we won't have to do that again. But the theaters there were fantastic. And then right across from the theater was, and I swear to God, this was the name of it, Noah's Arcade, spelled Arkade, which had a huge open front. It didn't have like a tiny entrance. It was a huge open front. and it was like 2 levels, and they had tons of pinball machines and an asteroids game that I wore out. And then the other thing that place had was a thrifty drugstore, which I would get, I think originally it was 5 cents for a single, 10 for a double, and 15 for a triple. I never had the money for the triple, but I would get. And then they had
You're
eventually.
talking about ice cream for those of you who aren't
Yes.
familiar with thrifty.
Yeah, I think now they still market thrifty ice cream in the stores, don't they? Still
Well,
out there?
Rite Aid
They're
took over
gone.
all the old thrifties, and
Yeah.
they kept the thrifties ice cream portions,
Mm-hmm.
but Rite Aid just went out of business.
Right. Yeah.
So now you can still get thrifties ice cream by the carton at the grocery store. They're still out there. But the only surviving thrifties ice cream I know that's in a physical location is one that's in a surf shop in Dana Point.
Really?
Yeah, they've had it there, I guess, forever. And since it wasn't Rite Aid and that surf shop still in business, they still have their thrifty ice cream section, where you can get scoops.
I'm gonna. Do they still have the scoop that was like the cylindrical thing?
Oh yeah,
that went in. I always remembered. No one else had one like that.
I think you can buy those if you go to Thrifties, you can buy them on their website.
Yeah, they did, because the Rite Aids, right before they went out of business here, they started carrying thrifty ice cream, and then they went out of business. And I'm like, you fuckers. Mint and chip was always my go-to flavor there. I always just loved it.
Pineapple, coconut pineapple was mine. And I actually have a tub in the freezer right now. I actually, as soon as they went out of business, I panicked and went and bought a couple gallons just as backup.
Yeah, because you don't know. I mean, and then it was also, there was an ice cream parlor back then called Farrell's.
Oh, yeah, love Farrell's.
They used thrifty ice cream. I found that out years later.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did. They got sourced from, because they, I remember liking Farrell's a lot. Now I know why, but I remember we used to go there. I used to play soccer. We would go there sometimes after the games and stuff like that, or to Me and Ed's Pizza or someplace like that. But
what'd you say, Me and Ed's?
Me and Ed's, yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We had because again, a lot of these places, I'm sure you and I frequented on numerous times. But Westminster Mall was interesting to me because I went there, I know, with my grandmother on more than a few of occasions, or my mom or something, because we would come out there, then go shopping. And I did see a couple movies out there. I can't remember which ones they were. The only thing I really remember about the theater there, and maybe you can confirm this or not, because you would have gone there a lot more than I did, is I went to the one that was inside right by one of the entrances.
Yeah, and it was directly across from a Round Table Pizza.
Okay. Oh God, I remember Round Table. Yeah, we had one near me too. The only thing I can really remember about that place, and maybe you can confirm or deny this, is that, I know I don't remember ever getting popcorn or anything there, but like the concession stand had like a multicolored wall or something, or had like bright, like a lot of words written over it, like, popcorn, candy, it's like, and different colors, and I can't remember. If I'm just
I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't. It's one of those vague impressions I have of that.
All I remember is the layout. When you walked in, the concession stand
was on the right.
Right.
Yeah.
There was 2 theaters straight ahead, and there was 2 theaters this direction.
Okay.
So that's all I really remember.
I saw a picture that you put in your video of the front of it, where that store nose down. That had to be depressing to see. That's another thing that's depressing is, La Mirada Mall got torn down in 1990, 5 years after I left. But it was that mall. I wasn't surprised, because that mall was just so weird. But like Eastland Mall in North Carolina, which was my teenage mall, that was wiped off the face of the earth about 20 years ago, and nothing's grown there since. They can't figure out what to do with the property, so it's just this big, empty, huge lot sitting there. And we're encountering now, and it's now going to happen to Westminster Mall as well. Have they said what they're doing to the property?
The word is that they're going to make it a mixed use, partial outdoor mall, partial apartments. So
that's what they did to La Mirada. They made houses and a new shopping center, basically. And where I used to see movies is now smack dab at the main intersection of the housing development, which is you know, I guess that's progress, you know. But I remember also because my grandmother lived off. She was in a little mobile home park, which is, believe it or not, still there. I don't know why it's still there because it was never run down, but it was never like a top of the line place. And everything
Mhm.
around there has become apartment buildings and condos over the years. But it was off of a street that I'm pretty sure you would have been familiar with or would have known. It was off of
What are you talking about?
where my grandmother lived, where
Oh,
in
okay, okay,
Westminster.
okay.
It was on a street called Hoover,
Yeah,
which
like,
had a train track on it, which ran the entire length of it. So there was nothing on the
yeah.
other side of the street.
Well, the funny thing is that train track you're talking about went directly behind my house in Stanton.
Did it really?
Like literally, the train was 100 feet from the
Oh
back of
my
my
god,
house.
that's so funny. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
because
know exactly what you're talking. And just so you know, I've been working since the mall video, which I did kind of like. I almost didn't even post it. I was
really.
just like, you know what? There's going to be some people that probably don't watch my channel
Hmm.
who are going to find it because they're looking up Westminster Mall and they're being nostalgic. And I should put it up just as a document, something that they can enjoy.
Yeah,
And
because
to
there's not
my
a lot of photos of these places or anything.
no, it's hard to find. Like, there's some guy that does dead mall videos who did a
Mhm.
Westminster Mall video, and he added video footage, and it wasn't even the right mall. I I mean, and because there was another Westminster Mall I found out in Colorado, because a lot of
Oh
people
yeah,
said,
yeah, yeah.
but I think this guy had never been to neither and was just up.
Didn't
He's
know the
just
difference.
creating videos to get clicks. And I think he grabbed the footage from someone else, and I'm like, commented on his video. I go, dude, that footage is not
That's not
Westminster
it.
Mall in California, the mall that you're documenting. You have the wrong footage. And he deleted it. He
Wow.
deleted my comment, whatever. Um, but anyway, what I was going to say is I was so pleasantly surprised by how well that video was received, not only on as far as views and stuff. I mean, I think it's getting close to 40,000 if it hasn't already exceeded 40,000 views.
Damn.
And the comments, people were messaging me directly, and the tons of comments, and so many people were like, wow, you should do more stuff like this, and specifically stuff about like growing up in Orange County, and
Hmm.
and people asking me specifically about my childhood, like
Yeah.
thinking, well, will people really care about where I grew up?
Hmm.
I've always felt like I do want to document that stuff just to document it,
Hmm.
but I feel like it's a tad pretentious to put up a video of like, this is the
Yeah.
house I grew up, this is the school I went to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but so many people said, no, I'm really interested. I'd like to see it. So I'm like, you know what? I bet I think I could do a video about where I grew up and the places I visited, movie
Hmm.
theaters, record stores, things like
Yeah.
that, pop culture stuff that could be interesting enough that people would enjoy it. So I started working on one this week.
Oh, cool.
I got inspired by all the positive feedback, and I think you'll really enjoy what I think it's going to have to be a multi-part video,
Hmm.
because there's so much stuff. But
Yeah.
I think you'll really enjoy it because I cover a lot of stuff you've brought up already, from ferals to
Oh yeah, Round Table and
there
all
was
those
something
guys.
thrifties, and all this the places I went to and grew up with. Round Table, yeah, all that. Yeah.
Shakey's Pizza and
Me and
Ralph's and
Ed's. I covered Me and
oh, me and
Ed's.
Ed's. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Do you remember? It was my favorite. I mean, Del Taco was always great, and I never went to a Taco Bell once when I was growing
you're
up
gonna
out
say
there.
Noggles?
I miss Noggles very, very much. Their
Were you gonna
burger,
say
but
Noggles?
I was no, I
Oh,
wasn't,
okay.
but Noggles was great.
Puppin
Although
Taco?
if you go to Del Taco, the burger that's on their menu is the Noggles burger, essentially, because when they took it, but it's still
Yeah.
not the same
Yeah,
as it
it's
was.
not the same as their Ortega burger, which I don't know
Oh,
if you know, Noggles is back.
they are.
Yeah, they brought it back because there was like a 30-year period that they couldn't use the name
Uh
and
huh.
stuff, and it ran out.
Oh,
And
okay.
the owner reopened one location. It branched out to a couple,
Mm-hmm.
and then those have pretty much died, and now it's back down to one location.
So now I
Um,
gotta go to the one place that serves thrifty ice cream, and now I gotta go to the one
the
Noggles one.
Noggles.
Okay, all right. I
Yeah.
gotta make a list of all the places I gotta go to when I'm back
There
out
is
there.
still a Me and Ed's in business.
Okay, now that's 3 places I gotta fucking go.
Yeah.
That's just great. Oh god,
Yeah.
good lord. There's always, at least there's still
And
one
Round
somewhere.
Table. There's a Round Table right by my house.
Now Round Table I was at last time I was out there.
Okay.
So I bumped into it. I was like, oh shit, Round Table.
Although they are closing, the one near when I was doing my recent video, I
Mhm.
discovered the one I used to go to as a teenager just closed in the last year. I didn't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Del Taco by my house in La Mirada is still there. It's been there at least 50 years now.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of, but the it was a little Mexican restaurant chain, a little fast food called Pup and Taco.
Pup and Taco. Loved it.
They were the best. And then Taco Bell bought them out, and I was like, fuck you, Taco Bell.
Yeah, there used to be a Pup and Taco right by my dad's work when he worked in Long Beach, and he'd always
Oh.
take me to, and they had the great crinkle fries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had the slushes, the cherry slushes. Those were the things I
Yeah.
missed the most, man. Oh, those in
Yeah,
the
somebody
solo
needs to
cups.
bring Pup and Taco back.
Damn right they do. Yeah, I would always stand up in the one that was by my house. They had a big window that overlooked the kitchen. If you stood on the seat, you could look down and watch them make the food. And I would always watch to see which burrito got the most cheese. And so I followed it until my dad picked up on what I was doing. He would switch them, and I'd be so pissed at him. I was like, damn it, can't I have this one thing? But the on beach, and this was a phenomenon when we were kids. Of course, we didn't drive, so whenever we would go somewhere, we're sitting in the passenger seat or the back seat. So as a result of that, I think I knew where everything was more than my parents were, because I was always looking out the window. Not, so on Beach Boulevard between La Mirada and Westminster, I knew where everything was. Every single car dealership, every single restaurant, everything. Do you remember? It didn't last very long, but there was a big ass department store called the Treasury.
Oh yeah, that's the Treasury used to back up
Right
to
to
the
the
Sequoia
freeway.
Health Club.
And it was right by a freeway overpass.
Yeah, it's a Target. Now.
Yeah, it's a Target now.
Yeah, I remember
I bought some albums there.
I bought some records there. I bought my Ace Frehley Kiss solo album there. I remember buying my dad "Who Are You" by the Who for Christmas. I bought that there. And the Sequoia Health Club, which was right behind the Treasury. It was a bowling alley, and it was kind of like a I don't really know. It was called the Sequoia Health Club. I guess there was a gym in there, but it had banquet rooms, and they would have events. I used to go to record shows there.
Oh, wow.
The Orange County Record Show used to be there. Now it moved just down the street near Knott's.
Oh, okay.
Actually, right next door. I actually cover this in my video. Right next door to where the Movies was in Clerks 2, which was a Burger King I used to go to.
Yeah, I used to call, and this is an honest to God true story. My dad was a DJ when I was growing up. He would do private events and like weddings and graduations and church functions and stuff like that. He had a whole setup with 2 turntables, 2 Technics,
a microphone. Sorry.
He had everything. He was a full, and he had this, this huge equipment. Now it would all be done with a little iPad or whatever. But back then, he had 2 Technics SL 1100As. These things weighed more than my Equinox weighs now. Direct drive turntables and everything. So we always were going out to get the latest 45s and LPs because he had to keep current with what was going out. And he would always bring me with him. And as you would imagine, where we would go was the Tower Records on Beach Boulevard, just past Knott's Berry Farm.
Which I also cover in my video.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I have so many fond memories of that store. I mean, that when you walked in there, I just remember how high the ceilings were, and all the 45s were all the way on the left, all along the wall, and it just seemed like that store never ended. It just went
massive.
And what's really weird is, and I'm sure you've noticed this, the property that it was on was raised like 25 years ago. There was a whole block worth of shops there that went all the way to this whatever that next street was. It's still vacant. It's been vacant for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I, for the life of me, can't understand what the hell's been going on.
Yeah, this is in my video. They're they have these signs up showing what is
they
going
want
to
to do. Yeah, yeah.
and I think they're newer, so maybe they're finally about to do something. So
Oh, okay. Because if you go on Google Earth and look back as far as you can, it's just like empty lot, empty lot, empty lot, empty lot.
yeah,
And I remember visiting out there in 2000, and it was empty.
yeah,
And it
it's
stands out like a sore thumb because everything around there is developed all to hell.
yeah.
And it's just like, especially being so close to Knott's Berry Farm.
And now they've been going down basically from where Tower was all the way down into Stanton.
Mm-hmm.
All those little motels
Oh,
have
yeah.
slowly they're
Yeah.
slowly getting torn down.
Yeah. But I remember when I was going out, the reason I was talking about Tower Records is when I would ride in the car with my dad. We go down Beach Boulder back and forth. And one day I noticed as we were passing by Knott's Berry Farm, the adventure park across the street was a couple different adventure parks during my time there. I can't remember. It was like a Wild Wild West. It was like, but it was always an outdoor adventure park. And then after that, it was kind of not wooded, but there wasn't as much development in that little strip right there. And I remember seeing a Burger King that I could see through the trees as I would drive through and go, how the hell do you even get? I can't even see how you get there. But I kind of kept it to myself. And for
Yeah, it's
every
a strange street. It's called Stanton Avenue.
Stanton Avenue, yes,
That
and
breaks off from Beach Boulevard
and then merges on to Beach.
and heads to Buena Park Mall.
Buena Mall, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
I couldn't figure out as a kid how you would get to the Burger King. It was just like, it's like, well, I can see it clearly from here. And so I called it the Burger King in the Woods because it's like, where the hell is this? I don't know. And I never asked my dad about it because, number one, I wanted to figure it out for myself. And two, I didn't want to go to Burger King because I didn't like Burger King very much. So I just forgot about it. You know, we left and I never thought about it again until Kevin Smith was telling the story of Clerks 2.
yeah.
And he said, we found this place and it was across from Knott's Berry Farm and you couldn't get to it from me. It's like, oh my dear God. And all these memories floated back. And it's like, oh my God, I know exactly where that was. Now it's an apartment complex.
My high school was only about 4 blocks from there.
Oh.
And so we would go to that Burger King quite often. And
well, it had a big parking lot. So it was, yeah.
And I remember, this is a true story. I was with I remember how long it was, whenever they shot Clerks 2, whatever, 2005
or 5,
something like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
I was going to Knott's Scary Farm with all the Horror Channel guys, I think, or Dread Central guys. I remember John Condit was one of the people with us.
Yeah, John. Yeah, I know John.
And John said, "Oh, you know, they're shooting Clerks 2 right down the street." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Clerks 2?" I go, "Dude, in my head, I'm like, and that makes no sense. Like, Kevin Smith would film in Jersey. Why would he shoot in Orange County?" And he goes, "No, there's this, like, an old Burger King or something. They've got it all done up like a movies." And I go, "Wait, the Burger King right over there?" So I went by there after, because he said, "No, they're shooting right now." So I drove by there before I went home, like after Knott's. I just drove by and holy shit, it was all done up like movies. So I came back the next day by myself. Or no, maybe my ex-wife went with me. Maybe she did. That makes sense because somehow I got a picture of myself in front of the place, and it was way before selfies and all that. Right. So we went over there, and they weren't filming that day, but everything was done up, and I took a bunch of pictures and took a picture in front of it. And all these stories I'm telling will be retold in my video.
Sorry to make you repeat what you're doing.
But yeah, you'll see the pictures and everything, because I never did like a Horrors Hall of Grounds kind of thing on that, because I don't know, I just never did it. Other people have done it, but I actually went there when it was a movies. So
wow.
Yeah,
the hotel next door is still there, but I think it's
still there. If you watch the behind the scenes, you can see them hanging out like on the balconies, like that overlooked the Burger King.
Yeah.
That's still there, but now it's all condos where the Burger King was.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, right next to the Burger King on the other side was it's like a I don't know if it's a community center or whatever that's where the record show moved to.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember so much on Beach Boulevard. There was we would go when we go past Tower Records, and I'll tell another story about this in a minute. But
Mhm.
we always just take Beach Boulevard for pretty much everything, it seemed. And there was a restaurant that we would go to for like Christmas Eve and special occasions. A great Mexican place is no longer there. It's called Los Castillos,
Where was
and
it at?
it was on Beach Boulevard, not far from where you lived actually at all.
Hmm.
And there's a catering place there now. But it was
Do you know what the cross streets were roughly?
You know what? I can find out real quick. They have the technology.
There was a Mexican restaurant / steakhouse that was my dad's favorite,
Oh yeah,
and it was called Mario's, and it was
Mario's.
yeah, it was called Mario's, and it was on Beach Boulevard, in between, I think, Ball and Chapman, and it was the bomb. It was this tiny little hole in the wall. It was like a house that was still on Beach Boulevard, but they had converted it into this little restaurant. My dad used to love that place. That was great. I mean, it was tasty food for sure.
Well, Beach Boulevard had so much. I mean, where we would turn to go, we would take Beach Boulevard to get to my grandmother's place, and we would turn off, and there was, I remember, a huge shopping center that had, I think, like a Save-On drugstore and a Ralph's in it. And then we would go down towards Hoover and make that left. But I think that's all gone now, but it's replaced.
Was that on Garden Grove Boulevard?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I know where you're talking, and I actually covered that in my video. But I forgot that Save-On was in there, and I couldn't remember if I said it was either a Ralph's or a Lucky's.
It was a Ralph's. It was definitely a Ralph's.
But I knew there one thing I definitely remembered about that shopping center is there was a Carvel ice cream place.
Oh, really? I don't remember the Carvel, no.
Yeah. And right where you turned, right? So you turn on Garden Grove Boulevard, caddy corner, right across the street was a Sambo's.
We had a Sambo's up near the Gemco in our neighborhood, up on would have been La Mirada Boulevard. It was a Sambo's right there on the corner. That didn't make it out of the 1980s.
Hey man, still good.
The food was good there, I have to admit, but it was
there. No, there was a Sambo's in Santa Barbara, California. It lasted up until about, I think, 10 years ago. It finally closed down.
Oh, they did?
It was the original location.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. Because, I do remember Sambo's very much. There was, Gemco was the other store that I remember. It was basically a
Edco and Gemco.
Yeah.
Zodi's. Remember Zodi's?
I remember Zodi's. I remember Woolco, which was a Woolworth's offshoot. That was in the La Mirada Mall for a long time, and then they closed. They built a Toys R Us at the end of the La Mirada Mall the last year I was there. That was awesome. Because the only other place to get toys was Service Merchandise, which was the most confusing fucking store I've ever been in my life. I could never understand that place.
Do you remember Toy City?
Toy City was off of Beach Boulevard, just past Tower.
You
turned off. Yeah.
It was on Lincoln.
Yeah. Lincoln.
So
yes.
Yeah.
You make a right. If you were heading from, you would make a right.
Yep.
Now,
wow,
here's
you got a good memory, man.
Well, again, I'm looking out. There was a stationer store, a teacher supply store on Beach Boulevard that I always remember.
I know the one you're talking about. It was down by the 5 freeway.
Yes, with the little yellow sign that faced out on the street. That was there for years.
You know what? I used to go in that teacher supply store to buy the scratch and sniff stickers that the teachers used to give you. You know, you had to get good grades.
God.
I found out where they sold them, and I went and bought sheets of them.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I always remember that place. Because that was on the right side of the street as we were leaving La Mirada, and they always had that bright little yellow sign, and it was kind of turned towards the street, so you would see it as you was going by. And then there was the Pussycat Theater.
Yep.
Near a big Ford dealership that was out that way. Worthington, might have been Worthington Ford, but I can't remember. They always had that guy doing the commercials out there. Remember Cal Worthington?
Oh yeah, Cal Worthington and his dog Spot.
Yeah. For the longest time, and I swear to God, and I thought in the song he was saying, "If you want a good deal, pussy cow." I don't know why I was thinking that's what they were saying.
Go see Cal.
No, I know. And I thought, and then years later when I heard that, I was like, oh my God. I went on YouTube and was looking at one of the commercials. There were other people that thought that too. So I didn't feel so stupid after that. I was just like, okay, so I'm not the only idiot that.
You know the other dealership theme song that was, come on, you know it. There was one of, Pete Ellis Dodge.
I don't remember Pete Ellis Dodge.
You know, Pete Ellis Dodge, Long Beach Freeway, Firestone exit, Southgate.
Oh my God, Southgate. Oh yes, okay, yes, I do remember that one.
It's crazy how a theme song of a play. I haven't heard that commercial in probably 40 years. I still know it. I still know where it was because of the song.
Oh, I know. There's so many of those. There's jingles have a way of doing that.
Yeah.
There's a movie I haven't watched now in probably 40 years called The Incredible Shrinking Woman with Lily Tomlin.
Oh yeah.
There's a jingle in that one, Galaxy Glue. I still hear it. Galaxy glue, galaxy glue. What would you do without galaxy glue? It's still in my head. And I haven't seen that fucking movie in 40 plus years. And it just was in my head the other day. And I was like, why is that still stuck in there? I need useful information, not this shit.
Well, that Toy City we were just talking about was literally across the street from my high school. So if you made the right on Lincoln, the Toy City was on the left.
On the left, yeah.
If you turned on Western, which is the corner, it was on the west corner of Western and Lincoln.
Yeah.
My high school was on Western. On the right-hand side, it's Western High School.
Oh my God, that's so funny. As you brought up Buena Park Mall, I went there a lot, obviously, because that was always right on the way back and forth to something. Of all the malls I've frequented, there were maybe 4 or 5. I liked Buena Park Mall, but it was always a little bit off. I don't know if
it was very small.
Yeah,
I mean,
it wasn't.
It's
nearly
literally
as big.
one long row with one little split in the center.
Right.
But then there was the downstairs.
I called it the basement because it was
the basement was the coolest part.
Right.
That's and unfortunately, that was shut down like 20 years ago.
Wow.
And now the entire basement is occupied by John's Famous Pizza Company, which is was in
the Westminster Mall, right?
Yeah. So they took over the whole basement, and the basement had all the coolest stuff. It had the movie theater was down there, the 8 UA, I think it was UA.
I think it was, United.
And there was because that was like the first multiplex in Orange County. Like we're like, oh my God, look at how many screens.
Yeah,
I remember going to see Chud there, right?
Chud.
And we went in the theater that Chud was playing. I'm not kidding you. There had to be 25 seats. It was oh
my God.
It was like you went into someone's bedroom. It was so small. I was like, even back then as a kid, I was like, are you kidding me? This thing's tiny.
Oh man. Back then, I remember you didn't have small movie theaters really.
I saw Platoon there. I saw Nightmare on Elm Street. I saw it twice there. I went back to see it again because I loved it so much. That was a great theater.
The theater at the Buena Park Mall was very good. I do remember that's where I usually went.
And there was a little arcade next to it,
a tiny one.
Although the good one was upstairs, Aladdin's.
Yeah, Aladdin's Castle. Yeah.
But, which I always dispute that. I know it's Aladdin's Castle was the name of the franchise, but the sign only said Aladdin.
It might have only some of the locations only said Aladdin's.
Yeah,
it didn't.
So everybody would go, "Oh, Aladdin's Castle," but no, it was Aladdin's. For years I would argue, but I loved that entrance that you went in that hallway with the blue lights and the mirror.
Oh yes, it was like going through a portal.
It was like you're walking into Tron, which
right?
Was cool,
exactly. Yeah, and that was of course one of the big games I played. Speaking of that, where my grandmother lived there on Hoover, every now and then, it didn't happen a lot, usually during the fall or the spring, or sometimes in the late summer if it wasn't too hot, we would get out and walk, and we would walk across Hoover, go through a neighborhood about maybe 2 or 3 blocks, and to another major road in Westminster, and you'll probably be able to tell me which this is. And then we would hang a brief left, and there was this enormous, big outdoor shopping center, and we would go see a movie. And I remember that the theater, there was 2 things I remember about the movie theater. It had 4 screens and a sign with like big flagpoles on it in the front. It was huge. It was like this.
Edward Cinema West, right?
Was that what it was?
Yeah, it was on the corner of
I can't remember.
Westminster Boulevard and Knott Avenue.
Okay, that must have been it, because I remember seeing The only two movies I remember for sure seeing there, I know I saw more. I saw The Dead Zone there because my grandmother had read the book and wanted to see the movie. So we went and
Hmm.
saw that. And then I saw at least one screening of, I don't think it was my first because I saw it several times because it didn't open at the La Mirada Mall. I know I saw Tron there.
I saw
Uh,
Tron there.
you did?
Yeah.
You saw
Actually,
Tron? Yeah,
yeah. Can
yeah.
I? Is it possible for me to add a photo to our chat? Is that?
Yeah, you can if you go down to the bottom, there's like a little plus symbol, you can upload
Hold
an
on.
image or something.
You're about to get your mind blown.
But I remember, yeah, I just remember the theater having a really huge sign. It was at the end of a big, huge shopping center there.
All right. I see it on there. How do I show
Oh,
it?
that's it. That's with the flagpoles and everything.
Yep.
Oh yes, that's exactly it. Oh my god, I always thought those were weird. I don't those because you certainly couldn't miss it. Yeah,
And do you
this would
remember
have
the
been 85.
couple unique things about this theater? Well, one thing I remembered in the lobby, they had for years, they had an Atari Night Driver video game in the
Oh really?
lobby.
Oh wow.
But you would walk in, there was the snack bar to the left, but
Mm-hmm.
then there was a long hallway
A
that had like it went up.
yes,
It like
yes,
had
yes, yes.
like a weird ramp.
I remember that. I couldn't remember if it was like an outdoor, like something. It was. I just remember it took you a long time to get to the theater
Well,
because it
it was
was.
yeah, you
Yeah.
walk through the lobby and then there was this long ass hallway,
Uh
and
huh.
basically as you went down the hallway it was each theater to
Right.
the
Right.
one after another, but at
Oh
some
yeah.
point it went to an incline and then
I
leveled
do.
out. Yeah.
Okay, I remember that. Yes, because it was only yeah, it was only 4 screens. But I do remember seeing Tron. I definitely saw Tron there. I don't know if it was the first time. I don't think it was the first time, but I know I saw it.
That was the first, I probably only time I saw it during its first run. I
Yeah.
did see Poltergeist there twice.
I
I
might have
saw
seen
it.
Poltergeist there too, because that I don't think that opened at the La Mirada Mall either.
I saw
Um,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 there.
nah, I was gone by then.
Um, I'm just trying. There's only certain ones that I specifically remember. I know
Yeah,
I've been there a
yeah,
ton, but
yeah,
I
same
remember
here.
I saw Popeye there.
Popeye. Funny thing about Popeye, where I lived, if you went up, I think it was over the exit to the was off of Rosecrans, over the 5 freeway, I think, or
Mhm.
maybe it was another. I can't remember which freeway it is, but it was very close to my house. Big drive-in theater with a huge sign, Santa Fe Springs, I think it was called,
Mhm.
and we would drive by it, and they hold swap meet. I think they only use it for swap meets now,
Yeah. Yeah.
but back then you would drive over it and you would see the big marquee, and they would always have a double feature. And I
Mhm.
remember one night driving over, now playing Popeye at midnight, Dawn of the Dead. And I thought, oh, that's a hell of a fucking double feature. I was, even as a kid, I'm like, what the hell? Oh my God, what's that all about? That was I just remember that. I went to that drive in several times. I saw Raiders of the
So
Lost Ark there once.
I one thing I didn't see Dawn of the Dead in its first run.
Me
Okay.
either.
I,
Me
I,
either.
I remember seeing the trailer
Mm-hmm.
at the drive-in, like they showed the trailer,
Right.
and I was always like, oh my God, I want to see that. But I remember for years, it was an event every Sunday to get the Sunday paper that
Oh
had the
God,
big,
the LA Times, man. Oh
yeah,
God, it was huge.
or
It
the
was big.
Register. You could get, and they had a big, the entertainment section had all the movies, all the news, all the stuff. And I would always go through it, and there was a couple theaters that were always showing Dawn of the Dead at midnight on Saturday
Mm-hmm.
night. There were
Mm-hmm.
certain movies. It was Dawn of the Dead, Led Zeppelin, The Song Remains the Same, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
It was all these, and I always was like, oh, Mom, can I go? You're not going to see a movie at midnight, And plus, I didn't know how long it was, too. Jesus, by the time you get home, 3 something in the morning. But I never got to go see it. I saw it in the theater, obviously, numerous times now since, but I didn't get to go see it. But I used to always look at those little articles, and I have a couple newspapers from that era that have those ads, the same ones I'm talking about.
I used to cut out all the movie advertisements every week and save them and little put.
Oh, do you still
And
have them?
I have a couple, but I do have something that will illustrate what I used to do. Let me pull this up real quick. I wish I had more pictures of me doing some of this stuff back then, but
Mhm.
as is the case, back then we weren't nostalgic about it. We just did stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we were just in the moment. We weren't thinking about what this would mean to us later on. We were just enjoying. We were so in the moment back then. And that's something I do wish that I could still do now, that I could just enjoy things for what they are. And you know, I have so many fond memories of the La Mirada Mall that has become crystallized, like all the great movies and the ice and all this stuff. Oh, and at one point I realized I had sort of made it into this perfect place.
Hmm.
But then I think, wait a minute. Well, back when I was a kid, that place used to frustrate the shit out of me.
Hmm.
You know, it used to, well, all the things it didn't have and how weird the layout was and how this wasn't right and this didn't work and stuff like that. So it's like, well, I've kind of shaved all the harsh edges off of this over the years. So it's like, well, I don't know if I trust nostalgia as much as I used to, because nothing's ever perfect. But here's this photo of me. That's me, and those are all cutouts from various LA Times over probably a matter of months.
That's rad.
And I had this, yeah, yeah. You can see there's a Chariots of Fire one there. This has been about 1981. I think there's a Mommy Dearest one you can see there. And I'm wearing a Superman
It's
shirt.
funny. I have a similar photo. Okay. I'm going to share with you. It's very similar to that photo. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. What is that under? But it's almost identical to that, but it's me with Kiss stuff.
Oh.
Hold on. Let me find it. That would be in. All right. I think I found it. Yeah. Just got to go through these, find it. And it's funny, the house that I'm in this photo, I was just in front of yesterday. Was it yesterday I did that? It was yesterday Thanksgiving? No, day before.
Yeah, just
so Thursday. It was on I went over there on Thanksgiving and I bumped into the homeowner.
Oh.
And he didn't let me in. I didn't ask. It was he actually said to me, I'd invite you in, but it's Thanksgiving and we have family.
Yeah, of course.
I go, no, it's cool. I didn't expect to even talk to you, you know.
Right, right.
Plus I had been in the house about 10 years prior when it was on the market. I actually went over there and took pictures. But
I actually got to tour my old childhood home in 2000 when I went there for an Anchor Bay party. It was up for sale at the time I was out there, and I got to walk. Hadn't been there in 15 years, and it was really surreal to be there, just walking around this place.
Not in this. Hold on, it must be in this other folder. I'm gonna find this stupid picture. But it's just funny how similar this photo is to yours, but with me about the same age as you. With Kiss stuff.
That's funny. Yeah, and I bet you it wouldn't surprise me at all if any number of these places we were there at the same time. I mean, the odds are it's very possible because we frequented a lot of the same places. Was there now in Westminster Mall? I remember, and I hope my memory is correct, that because my grandmother was big into reading, so that was the first place we would always hit up. Was there a Walden Books in the Westminster Mall?
I think there was,
because it was either that. It was always either that or a B. Dalton. But I seem to remember being a Walden Books.
It probably was a Walden.
I have memories of us going through that because, again, we were so close to that mall, and I would get dropped off from movies a lot, or I would just, or where are you going to be? I'm going to be either in the record store, I'm going to be in the arcade, or I'll be in the bookstore. So they knew one of three locations I would be in. The worst thing would always be whenever I would get dropped off at a mall at what I considered to be the wrong exit. And it's like, I don't want to go through a department store and go through the cosmetics section, but I'll do it if all the cool stuff happens to be located right outside of there. So you tended to remember in which mall, Okay, all the cool stuff is by the JCPenney's entrance. Okay, well, all the cool stuff's over by the Sears, or you tended to map these things out so because you didn't have a lot of time sometimes, and so you would just have to remember. So I got to go make a surgical strike to the things I need here, and if I have time, I'll spend it there.
I can't believe I can't find this one photo, which I know it's like one of my favorite photos.
Well, keep looking, and we'll find. I do have. There's a photo I just discovered. I was telling you about my dad being a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a little kid, like I would go with him on a lot of them, and he would just bring me along on a lot of that stuff. But here's a picture of me. I don't know how old I am in this picture, but this is what his setup was. You can see this was
wow. That's
yeah. I mean all that stuff. And what was really
headphones.
Oh my god! Yeah. I mean that was made out of plywood. He would pick that up himself and shove that in his van, and would set this thing up at every single DJ thing that he would go to. And those turntables were, like I said, SL 1100 direct drive turntables, and that little mixer unit with the green buttons that I'm holding on to.
Uh-huh.
I saw that if you look in Trick or Treat, that exact one is in the radio station that Gene Simmons is in. When I was doing Trick or Treat, I was like, oh my god, that's the same fucking one I've got. But yeah, and if you look over my head, there's a Tower Records bag with some of the stuff that we just got.
I found it.
Oh, good. Here, let me pull this.
Okay, hold up. Let's see. So this is. Okay. Let me add it here. Yeah, this is very similar to your photo. There it is.
Oh, okay. Let me put it up. Oh, that's weird. That is so similar.
Yeah, see how I got all my Kiss records?
Yeah, you got it all.
They're all spread out. I got
that is hilarious.
That looks like Tony the Tiger from Frosted Flakes and a Curious George.
Curious George, yeah. Oh,
that was our badass TV. that was our TV. That was our family TV.
Yeah, no, we didn't have a whole lot. I mean, we it's funny. My dad was an early adopter on technology, but looking back at the setups we had back then, I had a black and white TV for like the first 5 years that I ever had my own TV.
I think that TV ended up being my TV till I was probably 20. Because I at some point they upgraded and they gave me that for my room.
That's how I ended up with about most of my electronics. I have, because my dad stopped. I have a little Panasonic cassette deck that I just got fixed the other day that I had for years, because that was my dad's. And
so I'm noticing some questions in here.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking me about a place called Hoagie Barmichael's. Spelt it wrong. It was like HOGGIE. Yeah. But anyway, I do remember that place. Don't remember if I ever went there, but I knew that there were shows there. I don't think I ever played there. I know the name for sure. I might have gone to a show there, but I do remember that place. It was in Newport Beach. Yeah.
I remember around the intersection of Buena Park Boulevard and Beach, there were the Movie Land Wax Museum used to be there.
Oh, yeah. On Beach, that was on Beach Boulevard. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember.
I'm thinking about doing an entire episode on Movie Land.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think
they tore it down not long ago, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the building got torn down a couple years back, but the building was there for a long time. They did different things there. There was the Bodies exhibit there. There was a Titanic exhibit there. But here's an interesting thing, and I don't remember what the exact story is with this, but Dan Roebuck was a huge Movie Land enthusiast, and he and I shared the love of Movie Land Wax Museum. And for some reason, we had been talking about it for years. And at some point he called me up one day and said, "Hey, Sean," and this is right after Movie Land closed, because I actually went to Movie Land on its final day.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. And he called me up and said, "Hey, I'm doing a documentary on Movie Land Wax Museum, and would you like to come help? We're actually going there." This is like 6 months later, after it had been closed for maybe even a year. It had been closed a while. And he's like, "We're actually going to film there." And I'm like, "Well, what's
Oh,
still there?" And
right.
it was all the like sets and stuff were still there.
Wow.
So he did all this stuff, and we filmed all this, and he never did anything with it. And I remember asking, like, what's going on with that? And there was something that happened, maybe a falling out with the person he was doing it with, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a shame it never saw the light of day, because it was really interesting. And Dan, I don't believe he owns any of them now. I think he lost a lot of his collection in his divorce. But there was he owned some of the wax figures. He bought a few of them. He had them at his house. So
Oh, wow. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm trying
remember
to
how
see.
big that place was. And right after I
Place was
left,
creepy as hell.
yeah,
It
because it
was
was like
so
it was so cavernous. You couldn't,
it
I mean,
was
I
so
remember,
creepy, but it was awesome how creepy it was. You know, it
yeah,
was
I would appreciate it. I would appreciate that still now, I'm sure. Um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I know I have a ton of photos from there over the years. Even going back to one of my earliest photos of me as a kid was at Movie Land. Let me see
Oh,
if I can
wow.
at least find that.
Yeah.
Um, and let's see.
Oh, that restaurant I was talking to you about, Los Castillos, was at the intersection of Beach Boulevard and Bolsa Avenue.
Beach and Bolsa. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It was a really cool place. They had the best chips and salsa there, and the burritos were becoming like this fucking big. It was so cool.
Okay, let's see. Oh God, I have so much. Yeah, I have a ton of Movie Land stuff. Um, but anyway, yeah, I got some great photos in there of me on the sets, you know, like after the figures were gone and stuff. Like
Oh,
it was crazy. But anywho, I'm pretty sure I have video. I'm pretty sure I shot video
oh, I'd
there
love to see
too.
that. That's cool.
Yeah, let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to find a good picture here for you.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
here's from here's a shot I took of Roebuck. Let me see. Where is that? That's in what folder is this? I don't even know
because
where
I just
that's.
remember there was a
Okay.
lot of oversized restaurants and like theme restaurants out there. The medieval times happened right after I moved away.
Yeah, and then there's that Pirates one
Yeah. Oh,
still
there was one.
there.
There was one had like was it the Lippens Stallions? There was like I remember they were out on
Yeah,
the
it was
front of the place.
called like Wild Bills or something.
Yeah, something like that. I just remember seeing there was horses, like big white horses around the front of it. A lot, some of that stuff I never really bothered to really get much more information on.
Is it there? Where the hell is that folder? It's funny, I found it, but now I can't find it.
Well, if you weren't looking for it, you'd be able to find it. That's how it works. They hide
Yeah.
on you. One thing that was always I didn't realize until years later is that my father at some point must have gotten together with my mother and said, "Okay, we're living in La Mirada, California. We're not far from Anaheim. Our kids are going to be asking to go to Disneyland all the time because it
Mm.
wasn't very far from our house at all. So it was closer to you than it was to me, but it was still not very far for us. I have we went out to Disneyland that I can remember only twice during the entire time I lived there. And when we went to Disneyland, my father, because we didn't have cell phones, we couldn't track where anything was. My father took a circuitous route that took almost an hour, even longer to get there. Because he made it say, well, it's going to take us a long time to get to Disneyland. So he drove like a circle around to get to where it was. And so I always never really asked to go there because I remember how long a haul it was to get out there. And it
Mm.
wasn't until years later when I was actually finally able to drive on my own out that way And I was like, wait a minute. Oh my God, that's why we never turned left off Beach Boulevard past Knott's Berry Farm for anything. Because that's when you would start seeing the signs for Disneyland. And if I saw those, I'd be like, hey. And I was like, you son of a bitch. That's why we never I have no memories of anything left of Beach Boulevard. Because if you went down like Catella, a block, then you started seeing Disneyland this way, Disneyland this way. But it was like he did that deliberately so we wouldn't have to go there every single fucking weekend.
Smart
And I'm like,
man.
it was, on the one hand, I'm like, fuck you, Dad. But then it was like, brilliant move. Brilliant move.
Pull that one up.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. How old are you in that?
I'm guessing like 7 or 8.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so you can tell there's a monster kid in the making right there.
No shit. No kidding.
Look how stoked I am. I look stoked.
Yeah, you're the happiest motherfucker of all time right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that is great.
All right, so here I'm going to show you these now. This one is where is it at? Okay, 25, 44. Okay. All right. Hold on. So this is actually Dan Roebuck standing on one of the famous sets. Let's see if you recognize what set this is from at Movieland.
Oh my God. Oh shit. What is it? No, it's not Dracula.
No, it's not a horror set, actually.
No, it's not. You're right. Cause it's not the Titanic.
You're very close.
Oh, Poseidon Adventure?
Boom.
Yay.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep. There you go.
Okay.
And here's one for me. I think you'll be able to figure out immediately what set this is. There we go. So this is some of the stuff that I'll put in that video when I do.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this video now. This is awesome.
A Movieland one.
Yeah.
Which will need to be its own video.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can only imagine. Well, okay, yeah.
But I mean, it's crazy that I went there since
awesome.
I was a kid, looking at the Christopher Reeve figure standing there, and now I'm standing there. You know what I mean?
That's great.
And look what I'm wearing. You know what? You can tell what that hat is, can't you?
Yeah, it's a little. I can't quite see.
I can tell what it is just from here, even though it's completely unreadable, because I didn't wear very many hats. But I loved that hat. It was a Land of the Dead hat.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's great. Anyway. Oh, man. Fortress of Solitude. Man, they had some pretty elaborate... You were always looking at the figures, and sometimes you didn't really realize just how elaborate all the sets were for that place. You know. Oh, man.
I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, man. So much of this is... They say time travel isn't real, but I actually kind of believe it is, because I feel like I am traveling back in time talking about all this stuff. That was a pretty formative period of my life back then, you know? I mean, I think it would be for anybody, really, wouldn't it? But God. And it's just how interesting that someone I would come to know all these years later lived, literally, or figuratively, I guess, down the street from me. Because I can't tell you how many times I drove through Stanton. It must have been hundreds. I mean, it was just, oh, hello. Hello. Oh, what are you doing? How are you doing, man? What are you doing? Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, we got to talk about the Monroeville Mall for certain. Yeah.
Okay, a couple other things I need to ask you about. Since you know that area pretty well, did you ever go to, in that same area with Movieland and Medieval Times and Knott's, there used to be a place right next to Knott's Berry Farm called the Alligator Farm?
No, I never went to the Alligator. I know what you're talking about, but I never went there. No.
Okay, I went there. and there was also Cars of the Stars. Do you remember that place?
I don't remember Cars of the Stars. No.
It was basically automobiles from
Right.
famous movies, TV shows. But one thing that I always remember seeing there that I was really excited about was they had on display at Cars of the Stars for some reason the armature of the original King Kong on
Oh,
display.
really?
Yeah.
Oh. Did Bob Burns loan that, or did he own that at that point, or would he have
That was like we're talking like 1977.
79 something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know if he had it yet.
Oh, okay. Wow. No, I would have. See, it's always frustrating to me when I learn about all the cool stuff that was around during that time that I just wasn't into yet or I didn't know about. And the
Yeah.
things that I could have, oh my God, if I had just gone down one more mile, I would have known about this. Or,
Do you remember passing on Beach Boulevard just before you would turn to go to your grandma's on Golden
Mhm.
West?
Mhm.
On the right-hand side was Golfland
Yes, I do remember. I had
with
no
the big
interest in
sea
golf.
dragons out
Yeah.
front.
Yeah. I loved putt golf back then.
Yeah.
But I don't remember if we went to that one very much, but I know I wanted to go because it's
They
one of
had
those
the
places.
best arcade.
Oh, see, I never got that. All the putt golfs usually had really good arcades.
Yeah.
But I never got to go to Golfland. No, but I do know which one you're talking about because it was like, hey, that's really cool. No, we got to get to your grandmother's house. You can go, just leave me.
And right across the street, well, kind of to the side across the street was Me and Ed's Pizza.
Mm-hmm. And the Me
Beach.
and Ed's that I would go to was up near where the Gemco and the Sambos was just up the road from there. That we would go there for. My dad would do slide presentations at the end of the year for all our soccer games and everything, and he was really good with audio visual stuff. So we would have photos of us and timed out to like popular songs that were out at the time, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's interesting how much has changed in some things. Like La Mirada City Hall, which was one big building, then right across from it was the library. Those buildings have not changed one iota in the entire time I've been alive. If you went out there to film something that looked like it was set in 1981, you wouldn't have to do anything to them because they look exactly the same as they did last time I was out there. It's just like, God damn, they haven't. A new coat of paint on the place would be nice. I mean, nothing has changed out there whatsoever. Is there anything from your area that is still exactly the same?
Oh yeah. And obviously I point them out in my video. My library from when I was a kid, which was next door to the Boys and Girls Club. Those are both still there. Now, mind you, when I first moved into that neighborhood in 1978, the Boys and Girls Club was literally like a one little tiny building kind of community center with some ping pong tables and maybe a pool table. It was like a little shack.
Yeah.
And then they tore that down. I remember how bummed we were. That was our place. It was very similar to the one in Over the Edge. Very similar.
Oh God. Okay.
And then they built this insane, beautiful Boys and Girls Club that had a basketball gym. And anyway, I went by there and was talking about how those are exactly the same as when I was a kid. They haven't changed. So
yeah, there's very few things. I mean, there's certain like the Gemco building is still there, but it's a Home Depot now. But like the Del Taco hasn't changed at all, and there's a few
across the street from my neighborhood, there was an entire huge strip mall, 2 sections. Our grocery store, which was Alpha Beta.
I remember Alpha Beta. Yeah.
There was that, and then there was Al Drugs, and there was a Schwinn bicycle shop. There was a few other little stores, and then at the end was a movie theater. But that movie theater only ever showed like Mexican movies.
Oh, right.
It was like a Spanish movie theater. So I never went there.
Right.
But that was there forever. And it's all been leveled. It's all condos now. You would not recognize any of it. It's so crazy.
I know. It's amazing how some of it, like the La Mirada Mall, how drastically that property was reshaped. I forget how many acres it was. It was like 70 acres or something like that. It was huge. And you would not recognize hardly any of it. Aside from there's a couple buildings on the outside of it that stayed the same. The La Mirada Performing Arts Center and an IHOP, oddly enough, they had the old A-frame style roof. That's still there. But pretty much everything else has been wiped away. And it's again, I have a lot of fondness and a lot of memories for it. But I also, when I remember when they tore it down, I was disappointed, but I was like, yeah, I get it. I mean, it wasn't a very effective mall, and at the end of the day, what are you supposed to do, I guess? But there's a part of you, like, we're going through that right now. Obviously, a lot of us horror fans with the news about the Monroeville Mall and what's going to be happening with that. And I've always been, I'd be interested to hear how you feel about that, because obviously I can't come up with, when I first visited the mall in 94, I think you went there in what, 93? 90,
93, I think,
90,
was the Zombie Jamboree.
right.
Yeah.
When I first went there, it was in the early, like the first or second week of December. And I went there in 94, and it was full on Christmas mode there. Remember how malls used to be the best place for Christmas, because all the decorations were about, everyone's there bustling around looking for stuff. There's, the smells of Christmas in the mall. I mean, just all that. And that's what it was like when I went there for the first time. Now you go there and you could fire off a cannon and not hit anybody in there if it's not living that weekend. I mean, there's parking spaces that haven't seen a car in it since the mid 90s. And so on the one hand,
I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't want the mall to go away, but it's hard for me to come up with any really convincing argument to keep the mall as it is that doesn't boil down to, but they filmed Dawn of the Dead there. Because it's not doing anything for the economy of Monroeville.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, and people were saying, well, maybe Walmart will keep some of it. Maybe they'll keep some. It's like, they're not going to keep that.
They're not going to keep any of it.
No. Why would they? There's no point to keeping any of it from their point of view anyway.
Maybe they would maybe they would keep the section where the movie theater is and the Dick's or something. Dick's Sporting Goods. Maybe, but, because maybe that still gets some attraction. It's still new enough that it's not, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with that property. I mean, who knows?
I mean,
I just know that is going to be a very, I have very emotional feelings about that for sure.
And they're tied up with just not that mall, but all.
What's that?
It's not just the feelings tied up with that specific mall, which is the mall I've probably been to the most in my life now that I think about it.
Yeah.
For all the times I've visited there, but it's also representing all the malls of my past too, in a way.
I wonder what's going to happen with George's bust.
That'll probably end up with the Living Dead Museum or somebody, it'll go somewhere. I'm sure they're not going to throw that out. And there's a lot of stuff I'm sure that they'll say. There's a couple people in particular I know will be out there saving chunks of the mall to sell on eBay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
We're going to see fucking people selling bricks from the mall for the next
40 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Which, I get it.
Yeah.
But part of me is kind of like, if you went there and you got a piece yourself, I think that means something. But to buy something, and hope it's really what they're saying.
Right.
It is.
I mean, how would you know? I mean, there's no way.
I mean, it's different with the factory from Halloween 3, because the people that own it are the ones actually doing it, and they're doing certificates, and it's like, okay, that feels legit.
Right, yeah.
But like just some dude that pulled up some dirt and put it in a baggie and said, Monroeville Mall dirt, Right.
I miss, for me, the only real sadness for me, because I've gotten to go there now so many times, is that future generations, future fans of Dawn of the Dead, who will love that movie just as much as you and I do, will not be able to have that experience of going in there.
Yeah.
As different as the mall is now, it's still, when you walk in, that's where that movie was filmed. You just know it. You just feel it. And
I hope they give us a final day. I hope that we're at least told this is the last day.
Right. Because the next day, the wrecking balls are coming in tomorrow.
I think, and if Kevin is smart, he would throw a big event
on that day. Yeah.
Yeah. So all the fans could come to that.
Because I'd be there. I'd be there. Absolutely.
Because I'll tell you what, man, when me and Adam the Woo drove to Arizona for the final day of Metro Center, where they shot Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, not only was it during COVID, right? because COVID was just like blowing up, and like literally it was, people were masked up and everything. Uh, the amount of people that turned out for the last day of that mall was
Yeah.
insane. There was
Oh.
people were skateboarding through the mall. It was chaos. It
Oh
was a
man.
real spectacle. And you can
Oh.
see some of that in my video if you watch my Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure locations video. It was crazy.
Wow.
But I think we need something like that for Monroeville, where everybody can go and party and at least,
Oh, I bet. Yeah, because I
you
mean,
know,
and yeah, and I can see that totally happening.
and I
I
will
mean,
fly out for that for sure.
oh, I'll be there. I, I don't care what else I'm doing. I would be there for that because that place has had a. It's been an important place in our lives. You know, I mean, it's just it's like it says in the movie. I mean, it really
Like I used
it.
in my video.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. I know it's malls, especially, and maybe there was something about Southern California malls because that culture was so pervasive there.
Mhm.
But it was not just a place to go shopping. They were social centers. That's where you went
Yeah.
to meet your friends. That's where you went to meet new people and experience and go in. Oh, hey, I haven't played this game. Have you played this game? Yeah, I have. You got to try. Going into Sears and oh my God, they have a ColecoVision out that you could play or an Intellivision or something. And I miss that. I
Yeah.
miss that quality to those
Well,
places.
I was talking to Christopher Nelson about it. He grew up in that area,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the mall he went to as a kid. I mean, he used to
Yeah.
go buy his school clothes there. I mean, so
Yeah, same here.
he was going there before he saw Dawn of the Dead. So
Wow.
he has a real connection to that mall. So, he's getting the double whammy,
Yeah, yeah. So he has not only the movie attachment, but the personal attachment to it as well. And because I mean that's where La Mirada Mall, my mom would buy stuff at a place called Roberts, which was a
Mhm.
big department store there that was there pretty much to the bitter end. I think there used to be JJ Newberry's and a couple other places, but and then that whole one wing of the mall, which never made sense because it wasn't accessible directly by the rest of the mall except for the Woolco part. Got one like a store called Tuesday Morning moved in, which I never understood.
Mm.
And then the rest of it was vacant because they could never find anything to really take because that Wilco was so big
Yeah.
that they could never figure out what to do with the rest of it. It was just, but I mean, here's the weird thing, and I did love this about the La Mirada Mall, and I actually cried when I found this photo online because I thought that this existed only in my memory. The one entrance I always went in was the entrance right by where the Wilco was, and you'd walk down, and the 4 theaters were on the left, and then the 2 big screens were on the right.
Mhm.
And they used to have the ticket counters attached to where the 4 screens were, but to handle all the traffic now, they created a big round ticket booth with a marquee that wrapped around the top of it. And it was yellow, and I just remember I mean, I saw all the movies that made me want to love movies were seen at that theater. That's where it all happened. Those were the ones that created me, basically.
And
And
it's crazy how nostalgic you get for a place like that where,
oh
you
yeah,
know, I mean,
yeah,
and like if you had the chance to go back and get something from that place that you could keep, like there's a concert venue that I went to, so many shows there, going back to 82,
hmm,
and they tore it down. It's real close to where I live now. It's called Irvine Meadows Amphitheater. And when they tore it down, I went over there and was able to get one of the seat backs because the seats were like into the concrete, but
hmm.
they had the backings. And
Oh
if you can
nice.
see here, I'll pan up so you can see. That's
Oh,
that's with my very first ticket there and my very last ticket.
that is a
So
really cool thing,
yeah,
and I bet you that means more to you than a lot of other stuff that you have.
yeah. I mean, it's funny. People come in and they see it and they go, "What's with the seat?" I tell them the story.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wish I could have saved something, but again, back then I didn't think about, and also the mall went away right after I left when I was 11 years old, so it wasn't
Well,
like
the worst is when you don't know that
right.
something's
Yeah,
and like you drive by one day and it's gone. You know,
yeah, and it's like
it's
when the
like,
hell, But this right here, that was
oh wow,
that. Oh man,
That looks familiar. I wonder if I ever went there.
You might have. It wasn't very far from where you live, so I'm sure that you might have ended
Where
up out
was
there.
La Mirada Mall?
La Mirada Mall was off of
Look up.
if you went up
Like what
Beach
corners?
Boulevard. Oh, it was at the intersection of Rosecrans and La Mirada Boulevard. And there's a shopping center there now and a huge housing development that eats up where it was. The Toys R Us actually stayed on the property for years after. Then they finally closed up when Toys R Us went under. And there's a theater on the property now, which I've never been to. I almost went there once, but I went, it won't be the same. I can't bring myself to go do that. But this was great. If you went,
okay, so yeah, that's an area I'd never really. It's funny.
You might not have gone that way. I mean, it's just there's just certain things.
I generally didn't go much further past the 5 freeway down Beach Boulevard.
And I never went any further down Beach past West, like Garden Grove, that area. To turn off to where my grandmother was, that's as far as I ever went down Beach. But then there was like La Habra. I went to La Habra Fashion Square, which was their mall for a number of times because my mom liked to shop out there. So there were other areas. Lakewood had a mall that I would go to every now and then. But it was, and they had a really good movie theater that was still there last time I checked. That's one of the few theaters from any part of when I lived in Charlotte, during my teenage years, almost every single movie theater I went to back then is not only not open, but the buildings have been removed from the planet. I mean, it's like the Borg came in and scooped them off the planet and just went away, there's no evidence that they were ever there. But with the La Mirada Mall, you would walk in, and that's where you'd buy your ticket, obviously. And if you hung a left, is where the 4 screens were. And if you look to the right of the concession stand, you see what looks like a set of double doors back there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those doors led outside to a walkway where they would line you up for the big movies, like Return of the Jedi, Temple of Doom. And so I remember I went to see Temple of Doom first showing after school on a Friday. And they lined us all up out there, like 100 people. And then they would literally open the doors and you'd run in to get the best possible seats you could. And then the 2 big 70 millimeter houses were right behind, next on the right of that door. If you were to veer around to that side, that's where those were. But that was, I would always, when I found that photo, I actually broke down because that's exactly what I remembered. And I didn't think anybody still had a picture of that. Actually, I know they had also, oops, that's not right. Where am I? Oh, they also had a couple other images of the theater, which I was shocked by. I couldn't believe that someone had actually taken pictures of this place. But right outside the 4 theaters were they didn't have room for full movie posters. So they had to put up these.
Oh, wow.
And this would have been around 1980 because there's Airplane and When a Stranger Calls and Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, man. There was the Pacific 6. It was a Pacific thing, and it had a huge marquee in the parking lot. They could display all the titles and then some. It wasn't abbreviated or anything. And Raiders of the Lost Ark stayed there from opening day in May, and I want to say it was May or June of 81.
I'm trying to make out what some of those other movies are.
The upgrade software has kind of fucked up a couple of them, so I don't know what they are.
When a Stranger Calls, that looks like Airplane.
That's Airplane.
What's the next one?
I don't know what that is.
And the next one looks like maybe...
This is 1980, so it's something from around that time.
Almost looks like Penitentiary 2 or something.
Oh, yeah, it's George Kennedy or Leon Isaac Kennedy, I think maybe that says. I think that is one of those. And then
the next one, I'm not sure, and then Empire.
That's Empire, yeah.
Oh, man, I wonder what the fuck that is. Let me see. I'm on a mission to find out what those... Anybody in the chat know what those are? Recognize them?
Yeah. Because if you go on, what I'll often do is I'll go on newspapers.com and try to narrow down when certain things were. I love newspapers.com because you can find anything.
Do you have to have a membership to do that?
Yes.
Is it worth it? I think I've always...
It's so fucking worth it. Oh my God, the
Yeah.
things I've been able to find on there.
Okay, hold on. I pulled up the Penitentiary 2 poster. No, it's not that.
It's not that?
No.
Because I sometimes when it upreses, it puts details in there that aren't
Hmm.
accurate at all. And so you don't really know if that's really part of the poster or not.
Is
Or
it kind of like an AI thing?
yeah, it's a topaz, the image upper, because these things were really small. They were almost like thumbnail size photos.
Hmm.
But let me see if I can get maybe a better idea of what. And that third poster looks familiar to me, but I can't place what it is.
Yeah.
That image is very familiar, but I
It
cannot.
almost kind of looks like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, kind of.
It does. It almost does look like that, but I know
Yeah.
that's definitely not what that is.
Yeah.
I think one of them might be. No, it's not Fort Apache, the Bronx. Oh God, that's now. See, now That's gonna drive me nuts. Now, thanks a
Yep.
lot.
That's what I do, man. That's
Oh
what I do.
man, I'm gonna figure out what that was. But yeah, and so that theater was my. I guess we all have our holy grail theaters, our holy grail places, and that was mine. Was the La Mirada Mall Theater. That's where I saw all the. There was another theater that opened up in La Mirada, right in front of a Holiday Inn, right off the highway, called the Gateway Cinema. That lasted only a few years. When I came back in '91, I remember seeing the Rocketeer out there, I think, and City Slickers, and during a summer visit. And then I do remember seeing Dune there, or trying to see Dune there, but then I walked out after 20 minutes and went and saw the rest of John Carpenter's Starman, which I had already seen.
Hmm.
But yeah, Dune. I remember that I walked into Dune and they handed me a damn glossary. And I'd been trying to read the book, and I kept having to go to the glossary every 5 minutes. So, you know what? I'll see the movie first, and I'll use that as a primer and come back to the book. And then they hand me a damn glossary when I go in to see the movie. I say, oh, this is bad. This is just not good news for anybody. But I can't. What the fuck is that? What was that?
I know. I'm doing like a mad search now. I'm hoping everybody else is doing the same thing.
Yeah, who's going to get to it first? Who's going to figure it out first? Yeah, because I don't know.
It's obviously a movie posters from 1980. So I'm looking up 1980 movie posters.
So if this was I mean, the problem is it could have also bled into 1981 because these movies would stick around a lot back then. But
That's true.
But Airplane was 82. So
wait, no, it wasn't. Was it?
Yeah, Airplane was 1980.
1980.
Yeah.
I thought you said 82. So
no.
80
Airplane,
also.
the sequel was, but that wasn't.
Man, I can't believe I can't even just find one of them. Like something.
Okay, now this is gonna. People are gonna be watching this video later on and go, "Really? This is
fast
what they were
forward.
obsessed." Yeah, but you know what? They can fast forward. Fuck them. I wanna try to figure out what this was, because it was. I'm trying to remember what else could have been. Oh man, that's hard to. Because again, it's easier now because movies don't stick around that long, so it could only be a very narrow time that they were there.
Mm-hmm.
But now, back then, like Raiders stayed there for almost a year, and then it came back on a return engagement for another 5 or 6 months. Oakland? No, I don't need to look at Oakland.
May have to give up on this one.
Never give up. Never surrender. Did you enjoy? One of my favorite was the video games. What were your favorite video games during that time? Mine was the Star Wars, the Vector Scope game.
Vector graphics
game.
Yeah.
And Tron. I enjoyed Tron a lot too.
Well, I enjoyed it enough. I bought it, so I have. All right, I'll give up on the movie poster thing. I'll screen capture this and look at it later. There we go. All right, so it's funny. I mean, eventually, Yeah, no.
Is that?
Somebody said Empire
Oh
Strikes
wait,
Back. Yeah, we figured that out. We're looking for we see
number
When a Stranger
three,
Calls,
4, and 5.
Airplane, 3, 4, 5. We don't know, and 5 is Empire Strikes Back. So, um, but I mean, Space Invaders and Asteroids were like,
Oh
when
yeah.
those were like amazing at first, but then I used to. It's funny, some of my favorites, because I have a bunch of machines and I have a main cabinet that has everything. Some of my favorites I still play. There's this game that's not very well known called Bagman. You know that one?
Was that a Western theme game?
No, it was like a little bank robber guy, and
Oh, okay.
you're stealing, taking bags of money, and you have like these guys with pickaxes coming after you. It's just a really hard game, and that's why I think I always liked it.
Huh.
And then I like Pengo a lot. Remember Pengo, the penguin with the ice cubes pushing the cubes?
Oh, vaguely. That one wasn't. I remember that one. I remember Asteroids. The one that was at Noah's Arcade was just the buttons. It didn't
Hmm.
have, because some of them I think either had a joystick or a roller ball maybe or
There was
something.
no joysticks on that Asteroid,
Yeah,
just
no, there
buttons.
never. Yeah, there never was a joystick one. And then they had Missile Command. They had Space Invaders. They had Defender, which I never much cared for.
Yeah.
A lot of pinball. A lot of.
Saxon really annoyed the hell out of me.
Yeah, Zaxxon wasn't one. I did like
Um,
Tempest. That was a fun one.
oh yeah, somebody said Sinistar. That's a great one. I hunger. Yeah,
Yeah, there was a lot of pinball. I remember back
oh
then they
yeah.
had the whole back
Gorgar was one of my favorite pinball machines because
Oh
that's
God!
the one of the first talking pinball machines that
All
had
right.
that demon on it that looked like from the Incubus, but it was red.
Oh
Um,
my God! That brings
but
back
Star Castles was great.
Star Castles. I do remember Star
Um,
Castles. Yeah.
Omega Race, I liked, another good vector graphics game. Um, uh, I liked Gorf because it was a nice combo of a bunch of different games. Of course, Galaxian and Galaga. Uh, but I remember Track and Field was like revolutionary when that came out. Everybody was doing the pencil thing to go faster.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Oh God, I hated that game.
Yeah,
I hated. And then Dragon's Lair. Do you remember Dragon's Lair?
I own a Dragon's Lair. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That game always pissed me off too.
I've owned that game for about 20 years. I finished it once.
That was
It
one
it
more
was one of
time.
those things I got obsessed with to finish the damn thing. Once I finally finished it, I was so burnt out on the game, I never
Right.
wanted to play it again.
That was one of the Laserdisc based
Yeah.
games. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have a Space Ace also.
And didn't play Space Ace very much. That one just wasn't. I don't remember being that into that one. I think mainly because I was so pissed off at Dragon's Lair all the time. Because if you didn't
Well,
get
they
that
only got harder. Like
Yeah.
Space Ace was I've never finished Space Ace. Dragon's Lair 2, I can barely get through.
Oh God, yeah. I never could get the combination at the right time on, and it was right from the beginning of the game that I started having. I was like, God, I mean, it's the animation was wonderful, but fuck this. I just don't have the time for this crap. Oh God. But I just yeah, it was a magical time in a way. I mean, obviously, I think all our childhood memories are crystallized to a certain degree, but I'm glad I got to experience them. But it was interesting just how, moving to Charlotte, North Carolina in '85, how different a world that was from Southern California, and what a culture shock that was for me. Because in La Mirada, I could walk to the mall. I could walk to the mall actually. It wasn't that far. Although I would often we had a service in La Mirada called Dial-A-Ride, which you could give them a quarter and they would drive you anywhere in the city limits. And that was great because that saved my ass on a number of occasions. But I could walk there, ride my bike there to school. I could ride my bike to school, my best friend's house, a park, the library. I mean, I didn't need to go I didn't need to rely on my parents for hardly anything really. Except to go to like one of the cooler malls, like Cerritos had a great mall. That was an awesome.
That's still there.
Is it still there?
Yeah, it's funny. I've been considering going by just to check it out because last time I was there, but mind you, last time I was there was probably 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to be pretty busy, but somebody had said that it's dying, but
Wow.
I drive, you can see it from the 605 freeway,
Oh,
and
okay.
it always looks pretty full. The main place mall in Santa Ana is still going.
Okay.
Um,
Some have managed to avoid it. Like there's one mall here in town. It's the upscale mall. It's the hoity-toity mall, and
yeah, that
that will always
South
be.
Coast Plaza, Beverly Center vibe.
Yeah. I mean, you walk in there and it's all clothing stores and restoration hardware. It's like I don't. So and as a result, I didn't. I mean, some malls lost when that. This was a question I did want to ask you.
Hmm.
When did you stop going to malls? When did that kind of phase out for you? Because I know it was with me when the malls stopped carrying a lot of the cooler stores that I like to go to. They just started leaving.
Yeah, it's funny is there was a period there um where I just stopped going in kind of in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the mid 90s to early 2000s, and I don't know why. I know I would occasionally still go by one, but you wouldn't go like you used to go.
No, no, yeah,
Um
yeah.
but like for example, I remember one day going back to Mission Viejo Mall, and I guess I hadn't been there in a while, and when I got there I didn't realize they had completely renovated it and
Mm.
gotten rid of, like, the movie theater was gone,
Oh, yeah, all the
and
fun stuff.
it was like there was no, like, you wouldn't know it was ever there. Like,
Wow.
I think they demoed and rebuilt it. There was an area that I used to work in. It's funny is this is how I found out. I'm gonna go by there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go to park where I'd always park, and I'd always park at this one entrance that was right by where I worked. I worked at a pretzel place called Hot Sam's, and I worked at Spencer's, and they were all right by this entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm driving over there, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" There's like this giant parking structure there, and "What is this?" And it
Yeah.
was the entrance I used to go to was gone.
Oh God.
And then I go in another way, and once I get into the mall, I come to find out that where the entrance was is now a department store,
Jesus.
and that parking structure is now where the parking lot was. Partial, like part of the parking lot was part department store, part
Mm-hmm.
parking, and I was just like, I was floored. I was like, you wouldn't even recognize it. They changed the inside of that mall so much that
Wow.
there was nothing recognizable anymore. Like they
Yeah.
changed like the ceilings, everything.
Wow. They really did a number on that one.
I will say it's nice. It's very nice,
Yeah, but
but the history was, I was like really shocked, like it was gone.
it was interesting when I was watching your Westminster video. You had shots of the sort I call it the atrium, the open area of the mall, and how it looked then, and I'm like, boy, I don't remember it looking like that. And then you showed me a photo of what it looked, and I had completely forgotten that I never could figure out in Westminster Mall why they had this big open section with all these like MC Escher walkways and pathways around
Hmm.
it. And I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot about that. Because you'd walk in there and go, does this shit lead anywhere? Does this,
Yeah.
I mean, and then you were right. You would look down and you see, oh well, that's where you eat because it was all down in the bottom of the basement of the building.
Yeah.
But I just it was like, oh, that's right. There was all these weird. It's
It
like, what?
really was kind of a bad design.
It
There's a
was
lot of wasted space.
horrible amount of wasted space. It was like the whole section, the middle section of the mall was useless,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was just yeah. And when I was sitting there going, wow, I don't recognize this at all. And then you pop that old photograph, like, oh. Yeah. God, I hadn't thought of that probably in 40 years. But it was just, yeah. So I'm sorry that the mall's going away. But again, it's like one of those things where
And
it's like,
that's the same thing that happened to me with Westminster Malls. I hadn't been there in years, and I
mhm,
went back, and suddenly that whole middle section was gone. I was like,
yeah.
"Wait, what? What happened?"
And then you don't know
Um,
where you are anymore. It just,
Yeah.
it totally, it's like I based where I was in this mall off of certain landmarks and now all the landmarks are gone.
Yeah, but it's back to what you were saying about the stores that drew me in. It was the movie theaters,
Mm-hmm.
before there was good movie theaters outside of the malls.
The record stores
Um,
drew me in.
the record stores, obviously, like Spencer's, and the
Yeah.
the kishy kind of shops like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like there used to be a place in Westminster Mall called Coach House Gifts that had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of cool stuff. Um,
Did you?
so
Oh,
now
you mentioned a place we didn't. Wicks and things. Was that what
Wicks
it was
and
called?
Sticks.
Wicks and Sticks. We had one of those at one of the malls I went to. It was at Westminster, and I don't think it was La Mirada. It might have been Cerritos, but I can't remember. But you would walk by there, and the scent, the overwhelming scent of candles, would just waft out, and you'd be like, "Oh my god, how does anyone work in there and not just die?"
I
I
just
mean,
remember I would walk in there and see those crazy castle candles, and
yes,
and I
yeah,
was like, "Oh my god, I want one of these. They're so cool looking."
yeah. I don't know
But
what
they
I
were
would do with
also,
them.
I remember them being like $100.
They were expensive as
They were
hell.
crazy expensive. And
It was.
what are you gonna do with this giant candle?
I don't
you
know.
know?
No, and that's the thing. It's like it's cool, and I wouldn't mind having it, but other than lighting it, what the hell am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
And so it was an upscale candle shop, which I never quite understood how that found its niche, but I guess
Yeah,
it
and of
did.
course there was Suncoast Video, which was always a draw.
That was later for me. That
Yeah, yeah,
wasn't,
yeah.
yeah, but I loved. And did you have the record stores that I remember the most in malls? Musicland was almost all,
Musicland,
yeah.
Sam Goody,
Warehouse,
Warehouse, yeah.
yeah. I remember. I
Oh,
missed where.
I was gonna when we were talking about Edward Cinema West,
Mm-hmm.
that theater.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember across the street there was a Music Plus?
Yes, yes, yes.
That was the Music Plus that I got most of my concert tickets as a kid, like where we would go camp out to try to get tickets.
Oh yeah, I remember Music Plus very well. That was yeah,
I
because that.
worked at Music Plus in San Clemente.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's yeah. All those stores are gone now.
Yep.
We didn't
Believe
have.
in us, we're Music Plus.
We didn't have. Do you remember Ken Crane's?
Oh, on Beach Boulevard,
Uh-huh.
Laserdisc.
Yeah,
That's where I got all my Laserdiscs, man.
yeah. Years later, down the street was DVD Planet.
Hmm.
Remember they turned it into DVD Planet.
Yeah.
Their headquarters was actually right across the street in the only skyscraper kind of type building on beach. There, I had a meeting there when I was working with Anchor Bay. We were pitching some titles to them, but I remember it was the only like multi-story building that was on that whole stretch of Beach Boulevard.
Well, didn't Ken Crane's Laserdisc just change the name to DVD Planet? It didn't
I,
move.
it didn't move; it just
Yeah.
changed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was in the same location. Yeah, but there was also there was some other kind of Ken Crane's ish store chain that was around back then that I remember my dad would get a lot of his gear at, but I can't remember the life from me what the hell the name of it was.
What was it like where you'd get
Like
players and stuff?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Circuit City or something? Or
It wasn't a Circuit City. It was something. It might have even been Ken Crane's because I know that's where he got the first Laserdisc player we ever had.
well, the store pretty much just sold the discs. They didn't really sell players. I know there was
Yeah,
Ken
it wasn't.
Cranes that did sell. There was Ken Cranes that sold equipment, but it was a different store.
But that one I think was further up, maybe towards where Tower Records was. I seem to recall that there was one like in a circular building. My memory's a little foggy on that, but that was the Ken Crane. But there was another chain that I can't remember the name of it. That was like the stereo store, but I can't remember what the hell it was called.
The Federated Group.
The Federated Group. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. The Federated
With Fred
Group.
Rated.
Yeah,
Fred Rated.
the
Shadow
Fred
Stevens.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thank you so much. That was driving me nuts. Oh yeah. I would see I remember they took out huge ads all the time in the LA Times, usually in the movie section.
If you go on YouTube, just look up Federated Group. They have all those old commercials.
Oh,
They're
I gotta look
hilarious.
those up. I'm sure yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Shadow Stevens, man. You remember Shadow Stevens?
I remember Shadow Stevens. Yeah. Rick Dees, all those guys, Mark
Yeah.
and Brian, and all the 80s and 90s guys. I remember all of those. Oh man, God. Well, we've been talking for almost exactly 2 hours now. So, I was on here a little bit before, but still, I remember just so much of that, of all those stores and all those places back then, and I miss a lot of them. I miss a lot
We should
of
probably
the.
take down this La Mirada picture since we're.
Oh yeah, God, we're never gonna figure out what the. I'm gonna keep looking to figure out what that is, but it's just driving me nuts.
If anybody remembers or figures one out, definitely message us.
I'll figure out. I'll find it because the LA Times is on newspaper.com, so I'll track down what day that was, and figure out what 6 movies were playing at that.
Well, see, here's my problem. This is the reason I never joined that newspaper.com, because isn't there a lot that's missing? Like, you can't just look up any day and find one, right?
You can't. I mean, it doesn't have every single newspaper, no, but it has a lot of them, and you can search by day. I mean, it's amazing how thorough you can get with the searches. I've found movie ads from movies that only, I was like, this movie only played one day in Phoenix, Arizona, and I was able to track down that ad.
Wow.
I mean, it's helped out a lot with editing. Like when people are talking about, I went and saw that movie this day and such, was it, go on newspapers.com and there it is. So
what's that cost?
I don't know. I signed up for it so long ago. I think it's maybe $25-$30 a month, something like that. But it's
$25 or $30 a month.
Maybe or maybe no. I'm thinking it's probably like a yearly thing. I don't know how it breaks down.
I was gonna say that's the kind of thing you forget about and starts racking up.
But I use it so much that it's like it doesn't bother me really how much it costs because I use it almost every project I work on. It seems like. But yeah, I remember Musicland because it was Sam Goody's, but it wasn't called Sam Goody's out there. It was all Musicland, as I recall. I don't remember any Sam Goody's locations. I just remember they were all Musicland.
I think a lot of the Musiclands turned into Sam Goody's
later on. Yeah.
Because
then then they also own Suncoast, that whole conglomerate.
I think so.
Yeah, Suncoast. And
do you remember Licorice Pizza?
No.
It's annoying that they made a movie called Licorice Pizza. I remember when I heard they announced that movie, I got so excited thinking they were making a movie about the record store.
Right. And it had nothing to do.
Nothing to do with it at all.
No.
They even stole the logo.
Right.
And used it,
But it wasn't like, it wasn't like Empire Records or High Fidelity. It wasn't set in the record. Yeah, it wasn't.
And there wasn't even a Licorice Pizza Records in the movie. Like,
no, it's like, why would they? Yeah, it's like, what happened there? We had a one little record store in the La Mirada Mall for a while. It was okay, but when Tower Records is down the street, nothing really measures up. It was called Disc Go Round or Disc Cover Records. DIS, and then was like a dash, Disc Cover Records.
Where was this?
This was in the La Mirada Mall.
Oh.
And it was right by the theater when you walked in. The only reason I ever remember it because you would walk by it to go to the movie theater.
A lot of people are asking me, like, why I didn't talk more about the record stores in the mall. Honestly, I bought most of my records at the cool record shops that were outside of the mall. I mean, Tower Records.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew about like Beggar's Banquet that was on Beach Boulevard. There was
that one.
Pepperland.
I do.
Pier Records.
Yeah. Remember Pier? Yeah.
I mean, there were so many good record stores in my area that why would I go to the mall and pay more? Because they were more expensive at the mall.
That was my dad's attitude. It's like, I'll just go to Tower Records. They have everything and it's the best price anyway.
Yeah.
And you get to go into Tower Records for Christ's sake. Oh, you could also clarify something for me. They had their original building.
I can tell you exactly. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
They moved
2 stores over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like one store over.
It was.
So they were in this original spot and then they moved to the right.
Right.
And I think took over the old Circuit City.
And it became Tower Records and Video because I remember the sign changed a little bit.
Or maybe did they take over the Circuit City? Or did Circuit City... I don't remember, but they moved over to the right.
Yeah.
And then that lasted for a while. Then they moved to the Buena Park Mall.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. A new section of the Buena Park Mall. Have you been back since they built that whole outdoor theater outside area?
No, I have not. That happened the last time I was at the Buena Park was right before they built that.
So, yeah, they built behind the Buena Park Mall a giant theater and some other shops.
Mm-hmm.
And it was back there, sort of the outside area.
Okay.
as I recall. And it just was not the same. It was, I
No, I
mean,
bet it. How could it be?
it was just weird. And they did that same shit by my house because where I live, walking distance from my house, there was a Tower Records that
Mm.
I first went to in like '84.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they moved it uh, over and then moved it over to Laguna Hills Mall.
Okay. Oh, then
And the
yeah.
building it was at the Laguna Hills Mall is literally the only building still standing because it was outside the mall.
That was an out parcel
They've
building.
leveled the whole mall, and the
Oh.
one building where Tower was is now a Nordstrom Rack, I think it is.
Mm.
So, yeah.
I miss the original Anaheim Tower Records. That was one of my favorite places to go.
I
I
went to
love.
record signings there. I saw Fishbone played a live concert in the back behind it,
The
like out back.
Yeah.
And they did a signing that day too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that record store was so awesome, man. I bought so many of my
Oh,
records there.
all my records were bought there. All the records I still have, all the 45s I have, all
Hmm.
came from there, all of them. Because my dad would go there and say, what one do you want? It's like, okay. And so I would find one, and I just, my memory, and if I went in there now, it probably wouldn't seem as big, but to a little kid, that I couldn't see the back of the place. It was just like, oh my God, this goes on forever and ever.
You know, they still have Tower in Japan, in
Oh,
Tokyo, which I'm actually going to Tokyo next week. So
oh man.
I've been to it. It's just not this. I mean, they have the same sign,
Yeah.
and it's huge. It's 5 stories,
5 stories.
but it has hardly anything like really that we would
Yeah.
care about.
Yeah, that was a very specific time and place.
Yeah.
They had a Tower Records here in Michigan, in Birmingham for a while. It was in a,
Really.
yeah, and it was good. It was really good, but I don't know. There was something about that particular period in time
Yeah, we
where,
literally used to go to the Tower here just to hang out and try to
mm-hmm.
meet girls.
Oh, I
It
bet.
was like a place people went, you know?
Yeah. Well, I remember
And
the Anaheim one. Everybody there just seemed so hip and cool, because
yeah.
all the guys had shaggy hair at work behind the counter and everything. And I'm just a little kid, but it's like, oh my God, this is. And I
And I
just remember
love the one on Sunset too.
I went to the one on Sunset once. I bought a Suspiria Laserdisc there on a vacation in
Yeah, I went there a
'91.
lot. I went to a lot of signings there.
Oh yeah.
Devo did a signing there. Peter Frampton did a signing there. Peter Frampton did a signing and a live performance there.
Oh, that one has
Um,
the Sunset one has a huge history. That
yeah, I
one.
remember one time I was standing in line to buy something at the Tower on Sunset, and in line in front of me, I didn't realize it until like I got closer to the register. It was Elvis Costello, and I was just like, "Holy shit!" You know.
It's Elvis Costello buys records too. Oh
And then
my
of
God.
course there's Virgin Megastore, which
Mhm.
that started popping up later, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that one that was down on Sunset was great.
Oh sure. Yeah.
I met Brian De Palma in there one time,
Oh
and
really?
going through DVDs, and I see Brian De Palma shopping, and true story. I walked up to him. Let me see. I have it handy. Yes. Okay. Wait. There it is. All right. So I walked up with a copy of. So I pulled Scarface out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I walked up to him and I go, "Excuse me, Mr. De Palma, if I buy this, would you sign it for me?" And he
Uh-huh.
goes, "If you want to buy it, I'll sign it." And so I did.
Oh
I
cool.
got it right here. Hold on. Where is it? Son of a bitch. Holy shit, where is it?
Again, if you weren't looking for it, you would have found it already.
No, I'm like, now I'm getting a little nervous that somebody took it. That's weird. Hold up. Oh, here it is. It's in the wrong spot.
Ah. Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
That's great. So you don't get a lot of that in Michigan. Now you don't really bump into people like that out here too much.
Yeah.
Did was it the Laserdisc store that I remember going to a couple times out there was Dave's. Do you remember Dave's?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Dave's Laser a lot of times. I went to a bunch of signings there. They had a big John Carpenter signing there. They had a Shawshank Redemption signing there.
Oh man.
Here's a cool story. I was there for the Shawshank Redemption signing,
Mhm.
and in the store, just shopping, minding his own business, was Roddy McDowell.
Oh man.
And I'm
Oh.
like, oh my God. So I went up to him. I had a piece of paper because I didn't have anything.
Right.
And he was so nice and he signed it. Obviously, this is way before cell phone cameras, so I didn't get a picture with him.
Roddy McDowell. God,
Yeah.
see again, I moved away in '84, and I often wonder if we had, because we almost moved to Brea.
Yeah.
But a house deal fell through, and then situations.
Brea Mall still going strong.
Yeah, Brea Mall I would go to on occasion, very rarely, but Brea Mall.
A pretty good mall.
It was a pretty good one. But I often wonder what my life would have been had I not left California, because this was right before I would have gone into middle school, junior high, and high school, and it was just like, damn, my life would have gone on. I can't imagine where my life would have gone from there, because I did enjoy growing up there.
I say almost the exact same words in my upcoming video when I'm talking about my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm so grateful that my parents moved from Anchorage, Alaska, to California, because
I can see. Yeah,
God only knows what my life would have become. I guarantee you it wouldn't be this.
No, I don't see you would have had a clear path to that. And I didn't have a clear path to doing what I was doing, but somehow it ended up doing it anyway. But you do have to wonder. There are certain crossroads throughout your past. You wonder, well, what if? What if this hadn't happened, or what if this had happened? And that's one I often wonder about. Is if we had stayed and moved to Brea, and I had done my high school years and everything out there, what would that have been like? Who knows? But I would have gotten a few more years with the La Mirada Mall, and I would have gotten a few more years with Tower Records, and I would have enjoyed that. But
there was a Tower Records right across the street from Brea Mall.
See, now that's not making me feel any better about this. That's not making.
I used to go to that. I bought my copy of Ozzy Osbourne's "Speak of the Devil" at that Tower Records.
God, yeah, those were living in Southern California at that time was really great, because you were so close to everything cool. Yeah. There were no, where I was, again, I could walk to literally everywhere I wanted to go, and I didn't have to rely. So I had a lot more freedom than I would have had I lived somewhere else at that time. And I got to expose myself to a lot of things, a lot of places and experiences that I just, a lot of things I did that my parents knew nothing about,
Should we maybe go through some of these questions?
Yeah,
I see questions.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yes.
Somebody's at the Everscathed. There's a buddy of mine. He's asking you if you're in Michigan, that you're currently snowed in like he is in Chicago.
Yes, I am in Michigan, and I am not snowed in, but it's coming. It has started, but we are not snowed in yet. It takes a lot to snow us in out here, because first year I moved here, we got like a foot at Thanksgiving. And that was pretty much like here's what you're going to be dealing with for the next 25 years. And honestly, 6 or 7 inches is what they're predicting. And people are just like, talk to me when it's in the double digits. So we'll see how it is. But, winter is here.
Felicia Warrington is saying, I'm sure I'm the only one, but I'm still impatiently waiting on the Exorcist 3 location video. You're not the only one. I've been getting bugged a lot about it.
Love that movie.
I really, honestly, I have no excuse except for sheer laziness. As it's funny is I've put so much work into that video, and I've flown to many locations to get it done, and I've got it all done, but it's the editing process and voiceover crap that I have to do. I hate doing voiceover. And honestly, I keep putting things ahead of it, which I should probably. You've inspired me, Felicia. I'm gonna work on this damn thing and get it done, because it is done. It actually is done. So, and I had been sitting on it for a couple of years trying to find the church from the opening of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me for frickin' ever to find that, because I found the exterior. The exterior is in Georgetown.
Right,
But
right.
when they go in the church, that's not the church.
No, no.
And finally found it. And actually, Matt Blasey and I went there right before, the same day we did the Blair Witch video.
Oh, okay.
Because it was the only thing I needed. So we went there first and knocked that out. And he's probably dying to put up pictures from that place too, because I told him, you can't do anything until I put this up. So
I know where William Peter Blatty's house was. I could have told you where that is, because I went to his house to do the interview with him for that.
Oh man, I wish I could have met him.
He was really cool. He died, I think, 5 or 6 months after that. And you could tell he was sort of near the end, but he had so many great things to talk about. And I just felt, it was funny. I was driving down the road looking for where his house was. I had the address. Like, no, that's not it. That's not it. And there was just something about this one house. It felt almost like a Gothic church, but not really. They had just something, and I was like, yeah, that's it. I don't have to look at the number. I know that's it. So it's like, why am I even? And he was really cool to be able to sit there and just chat with him about religion and faith and life, and the people that he'd known. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. We got to talk about Exorcist 3. That's how you doing, man.
Ethan's asking why I've never done Fade to Black. That's actually on my to-do list. It is actually on my to-do list.
I would have thought you would have done that by now.
No, I was with Dennis Christopher a couple months ago at a convention. I was trying to get him to remember where the actual loading dock was, where he has the first confrontation with Mickey Rourke. Yeah. And for the life of him, he couldn't remember. But I pretty much know where everything else is. I found his house, obviously Chinese theater,
Yeah.
So it's one of those. It's one of those I know when I finally get to doing it, it's probably only going to get a couple thousand views because it's just not a very popular movie. Mm-hmm. But I'll get to it. I have a list right here. You can't see it. I have it stuck on my desk of all the ones I still want to do, and that's on it.
Like Fright Night 2, perhaps.
It's on it, yeah. But I know, is there still time?
There's still time.
Really?
Yeah, we're waiting to get some additional things.
Now would be the time for me to do it because I have a little downtime. This is my slow time.
Right, right.
Okay. I thought it got away from me. Okay, I'll work on that. Okay. The burning, I want to do it, but I haven't gotten around to that.
The camp is still up there in Tonawanda, I think. So I don't think that's changed. So that would be a good
it's just getting access to it.
Right, right. And now is not the time to go out there to try to do that because it'd be fucking freezing.
But the next one that's coming up, the next one that's done, that's coming out is gonna be. It's not a horror one. It's 3 O'Clock High.
Oh, I love 3 O'Clock High so much. That's all up in Salt Lake.
LA and Salt Lake.
Okay.
The school is in Salt Lake.
Right.
All the other locations getting to school was LA.
Oh, okay.
His house, the girl's house,
right.
All the streets.
That is my favorite high school movie.
It's a great, I love
it.
And I did that. I did the high school it's been about 2-3 years.
When you did the Halloweens, didn't you do some of those? Didn't you?
No, I did work on some more of the locations I've missed for that, but I went there with Adam the Woo. I did Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Hereditary, and he did SLC Punk and 3 O'Clock High.
Oh, okay.
Now 3 O'Clock High, and it's funny is that's what hooked me into doing it. He told me, dude, guess what? He goes, do you like 3 O'Clock High? And I'm like, dude, I fucking love that movie. And he said, I got access to the school, and I go, dude. Can I come with you? I've got to see this, And so he, the deal was, I could shoot my own video, but obviously I got to let him put his out first.
Sure.
So I've been sitting on it for a while, but the one thing he only did the school. Mm-hmm. So I found everything else. my video is going to be a little more complete.
Oh,
So
cool. I love that movie. No, that is, yeah, I mean, there were a lot of great '80s high school movies, but that one always spoke to me the most out of all of them. Was 3 O'clock High, and of course, it's the one that the least amount of people have seen.
yeah, that needs to come out on like 4K or something, you know.
Yeah, I got to produce the collector's edition for Shout Factory, and I was disappointed how many of the cast members just didn't want to do it, and I was pissed.
Casey, it seems like Casey just walked away from the business completely.
Yeah, and he was busy as hell there for a long. I mean, he did tons of stuff,
Yeah,
but
I mean, I know people have tried to get him to do conventions. No luck.
yeah,
And Richard Tyson, you know, I used to work with Tyson. He was in my movie.
yeah,
And I don't know what happened, dude, but his brain is fried.
yeah, yeah. He
I
lives
mean,
like
dude, he didn't remember me. And
mm,
I hadn't seen him in just a couple of years.
yeah,
And I came up to him at a convention. I'm like, bro, what's up? And we start talking. I noticed he's looking at me weird. And
yeah.
like, this is a guy, not only was in my movie, I repped him for several years. We'd spent a lot of time together, a lot of time together.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point in the conversation, he goes, I'm sorry. What's your name?
Oh,
And I'm just like, dude, it's Sean Clark. Remember? And dude, he had no recollection of. It was sad. It was sad.
yeah. Well, one of the teacher that he has the kind of the fantasy scene with,
Yeah.
I tried to get her for an interview years ago, and apparently she's in late stage dementia now.
Oh, yeah, because she did a chiller like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, but I think that's what it was. What I was told by someone. Yeah, but then it was just no one else. But the director, Phil Joanno, he showed up. He was happy as hell to do something for that. He was great to talk to. I loved doing the commentary with him because that was just
For
I
which
loved
movie?
it. On 3 O'clock High, the director.
Oh, you did the commentary on that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I actually, here's another thing. Me and Tyson went to a screening of 3 O'clock High at the New Beverly,
Mm-hmm.
and it was him and the director,
Oh,
and they did a Q&A afterwards, and I went there with Richard. Like, we went together.
yeah.
I mean, he and I spent a lot of time together, so it wasn't like just some fan. Do you remember me? You know?
Right. No, that's weird. That's weird.
Now I see a lot of talk here. Everscape's giving me shit about being freaked out going on the roof. Yes, I'm afraid of heights, and
Oh, that.
getting up to that roof on 3 O'clock High was the
Oof.
sketchy ladder that went
Yeah.
up like 3 stories, and it was freaky as hell. Now the roof at the
Monroeville
mall,
is just narrow, but it's not
yeah,
hard to get up there
no,
at all.
that's not bad.
No,
I'm not worried
no.
about that. You know, I mean, it was the climbing up that ladder that freaked me out.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not much with heights either.
What was I just watching that me and Nay were freaking out about something regarding heights? We were just watching something where we were just like, oh my God. I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember the name of that movie. It's the one where the two girls are trapped on the top of the tower.
It's called
I can't remember what that's
it's not
called.
the tower.
Oh yeah, something simple like that.
It's called something like that.
Yeah, I can't watch that movie. There's no way I could. That's certainly not one I want any kind of 3D immersive experience with that.
Can't believe I can't think of the name.
Yeah, but you're right. It is something simple like the tower or
Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in it.
Oh yeah.
He played her father. Somebody's gonna pull it up before me. It was called
Fall.
Huh? Fall.
Yeah, the fall
Okay.
or fall
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, The Fall.
Fall. Yeah. I can't watch that movie.
That was it was okay movie. You know, it's like one of those movies, kind of like Frozen. You know, where it's like one location stuck. Not talking about Disney's Frozen. I'm talking about
That guy,
Adam Green's
Nate,
frozen.
Nate Ragon is asking about Atanas Ilyich from Slumber Party Massacre 2. He went on. I think he's like super rich now. That guy. He became a businessman or something. He was part of his
Who was
family
he? I
was
don't
in.
even know who he is.
He was the killer, the
No, I'm
guitar
not a
killer.
big Slumber Party Massacre fan.
But I think I think he's basically in the position of he does what he wants to when he wants to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. Like, I've been trying to get, I forgot the actor's name, but he was the guy in Friday 13th Part 3 that does the handstand and gets
Oh
killed.
yeah.
So he's really good friends with one of my clients.
Mm.
And apparently he's like a big time surgeon.
Oh.
And makes a ton of money and just
really
isn't that interested.
Yeah.
So
yeah, some people, the paycheck ain't gonna bring them out if they don't want to. Oh,
what did I think of Weapons? I thought it was a little overrated.
I loved it. I had a great time with that movie. I've rewatched it now quite a few times.
Really?
Yeah.
I got really bored. I thought it was too long. I thought watching every scene over from a different perspective kind of got old. I don't know.
See, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that perspective on it. But
I didn't hate it. I went into it wanting to love it and didn't love it. Thought it was kind of okay.
Yeah, so that happens to me too sometimes, especially when you hear about it for such a long time, and then you're like, oh, okay. Well, the ending was my favorite part of the movie. Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I always find it interesting when, like something like that catches on, like all these people are cosplaying that chick.
And Gladys.
Yeah. Which is just so random that it's Ed Harris's wife, it's just.
Yeah, I met her once in the driveway of Ed Harris's house in Malibu when I was done interviewing him for Creepshow and Night Riders. She came up the driveway as we were leaving. She was very friendly. Very friendly. Yeah. I loved her house. It was a really nice house up in Malibu, which I just discovered in an interview. They lost in the fires.
Yeah, I met her at an event they had for Carnival, the series Carnival.
Yeah.
I met her there. And Ed Harris was there. It was at the Directors Guild, and they were doing this big presentation. They had like the whole cast there.
Oh wow!
And I met Ed that night, and he's very kind of dry.
Yeah, he's very he's not a larger than life person at all. He's very down to bit.
He was nice.
He was very nice. When I showed up to do the interview, he was out in his garden digging a ditch with his hands, like an irrigation ditch, and it was just like, well, this guy's not putting on airs at all. He's just a regular workabout guy. There's nothing. He's not gonna, make a big deal out of anything. But he was very nice.
I met him again at a screening at the ArcLight for History of Violence.
Oh,
and it was him and Cronenberg, and he was really great. He signed my Night Riders poster. Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah, no, he was.
Speaking of Creepshow,
Ashtray.
No, it's the Meteor.
Oh, the Meteor. Oh, is that from the auction?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There, the lights went off. That's half the Meteor.
Half the Meteor?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know when those lights go off. I had them on.
I didn't see. Yeah, that's great. Oh, man.
Yeah, got to put the green light on it.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, he was nice. He'd be great to get to a convention, but he does not seem like the type.
He would never do it. I can't imagine him ever doing that for any.
She might.
She now especially.
Yeah.
I think now especially now she's got this cachet with weapons, But yeah, no, there's certain people. I wish Stephen King would just do one show, man. And
I did meet him.
Did you?
Yeah, he did a
never gotten to meet him.
He did a signing and a reading at a bookstore in LA. It was down by 3rd Street Promenade. This was it was for Bag of Bones.
Oh, okay.
And so he read a short story that was unpublished. Then he did a signing, but he would only sign the book. and I tried to get my Shining poster signed.
Oh, well, of all the movies, that's probably the one you'd be least inclined to.
Yeah, I probably would, but I had it folded because it was
Uh-huh.
folded and it was just the yellow. You couldn't even, it didn't even say anything,
Right.
And I had it hidden under my shirt because they were taking anything away from you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I actually pulled. I go, "Would you mind?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's me breaking the rules. See,
Yeah.
even I broke the rules, but nowadays I'd yell at you for this." But he said, "Oh, I can't. I can." And so I asked him if he would sign the ticket for the event, and he did sign that. So I got him to sign the ticket, which I then framed and matted with the creep show picture. But then
Well,
I still have my copy of Bag of Bones signed by him.
Oh, that's cool.
Didn't get a picture or anything. It was no
Yeah.
photos.
Yeah.
But at least I met the man.
I never have gotten to meet him. Out of all that, he's on the very short bucket list of people that I've never gotten to meet that I wish.
Give me top 5 that are still alive that you wish you could meet.
Just over. Does it have to be in the horror genre, or can it be outside?
Be anything.
Okay.
Music, sports, anything.
John Williams,
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King,
Mm-hmm.
Rob Bottin.
Met him.
Thank you. I don't want to hear about this. He's like the J.D. Salinger of the horror.
I got a picture
world.
with him too.
Oh, that's great.
But you ever seen my picture with him?
No, I've never seen your picture of him.
I'll show it. When
I have a feeling I'm about to, though, aren't I?
Probably.
Uh-huh.
It's funny because he's looking at me like I'm crazy.
Well, okay.
And I look just super stoked. I look so happy, and he's literally staring at me and not the camera. It's pretty funny.
That's funny. Let's see. Rob Bottin, him, music side. John Williams, obviously. Spielberg, I wouldn't mind a couple minutes with. Because
he's one of my top 5, Spielberg.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark changed my life, so that
Kurt Russell was another one for me.
Oh yeah.
Even though I know he's a dick, I'd like to meet George Lucas.
I would want to meet him too, because honestly, he gets a lot of shit thrown at him, and especially when the prequels came out, and I understand that because I didn't like the prequels either.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, everyone's like, "Oh, you raped my child, or you ruined my childhood." It's like, no, he just made some movies you didn't like.
Yeah.
Let it go. He's someone I wouldn't mind meeting. I think maybe Cameron is someone I wouldn't mind having an interview, because there's a lot of things I would love to ask him about.
James Cameron was kind of a dick to me. I tried to meet him.
He's a dick to pretty much everybody, from what I understand. But he knows what he's doing, so he gets away with it. So I would say, I'd like to meet John Carpenter on a good day.
Me and John seem like we're have new life.
Well, that's good. That's good.
All right, here you go. It's in there. Pull it up.
Yeah. Where was this? At a convention?
This was at a Fangoria special event honoring Dick Smith.
Oh, okay.
And that's the only reason he was there.
Of course, yeah.
And I'm holding my Fangoria that he just signed, which was an article with, it was on Twilight Zone, the movie.
Right.
It's something I'm just now noticing. So back there, see the It head?
Yeah, the Pennywise head, yeah.
Below that was a display of all the killer clowns.
Oh.
And they were screen used ones. And the one right where that guy's arm is, from the side, I recognize that as being Clownzilla.
Oh, so the Chiodos were there? Yeah,
which I now own that very prop right there.
Of course you do.
But that's just crazy. But yeah, this I had been in this photo. I had been awake for about 36 hours. I spent the night in front of the LA Coliseum to be contestant number 1 to try out for Spinal Tap.
Oh my God.
It was the Spinal Tap drummer tryouts, and that was the t-shirt they gave you for trying out. The back had the tombstones of each drummer. And so
can't really dust for vomit. Oh my God. Yeah, that's not a job I'd want. There's not a very long life expectancy with Spinal Tap drummers.
Well, the worst part is I actually thought it was like a legit thing and I really wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a publicity stunt.
Right.
They really didn't pick anybody.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now he is kind of looking at you like, what the fuck?
Well, it's just funny because I took a picture of him and my buddy Darren, and he posed perfectly looking at the camera. But this, he's looking at me like
This is better.
it's
This is
bizarre.
better though. I like this is better though. I think
It has character.
It does. It absolutely does. You know you've done something right when Rob Bottin is looking at you like the fuck and what's, you know, he's someone I would love to actually. I would love to interview him just about, well, everything.
Yeah,
but he's totally dropped out. Totally dropped out.
Yeah, and from what I understand, is a multi-millionaire from real estate.
Real estate, yeah.
But it is so crazy how he just doesn't seem to care about. He has such a massive fan base, and I want to say the fact that he just walked away and is inaccessible has made him more popular. You know,
yeah, I know. Again, there's this mystique around him now. You know?
And I'm just so grateful I had this moment one time.
Yeah,
you know, I got one autograph.
Maybe it was you. Maybe it was taking this photo. He looked at you and said, "I don't want."
It was this moment where he's like, "I can't deal with this shit.
Yeah,
I can't. Look at this guy. Look at this fucking guy.
This is my fan base. No, I'm out. I'm checking. I'm done."
So I've got the one autograph, and then I got I got those sketches. I don't know if you ever saw my videos on the one of those is signed. But otherwise, yeah. I mean, I wish I could have them on my thing poster, but yeah.
That's someone I would have liked to have met was Drew Struzan. I would have loved to have met him.
Met Drew, got all the important posters signed by him. I paid a lot of money. He was not cheap.
No.
I paid for every one of them. I got him like Back to the Future, The Thing, Better Off Dead, Big Trouble.
Goonies.
Not a fan.
I'm not a fan of Goonies either.
Yeah.
And isn't that weird? Because you and I both were the perfect audience for that movie.
But how old are you?
I was 12 when that came out.
How old are you now?
I am, how old am I? 52.
Okay, see, I'm 55. So I think you were the right age for that movie. I was just a little too old.
A couple years, yeah. Because you're in high school by that point, so probably, or junior high. Yeah, but I couldn't have been more stoked for Goonies than I was for any other, because especially there was a teaser trailer for that's on YouTube that they did the year before, which was just all the titles and all the logos of Richard Donner and Spielberg's movies with the accompanying theme music rushed by, and then it was like Superman, The Omen, E.T., Indiana Jones, and then one letter from each logo comes back to form the word Goonies. Coming next summer. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I am so down for whatever the fuck this is. And then I go see the movie and I'm like, I hate these kids. I hope they all die in every one of these fucking and the ending to that movie has pissed me off for years. The ending of the very closing of it, they're all on the beach and you know, everybody's there and everything's great. And they find a little coin purse that has a few of the jewels from the ship in it. Now they can save the Goondocks. And then all of a sudden, look, everybody, look. And there's One-Eyed Willie's ship drifting out into the sea. And not one of these fucking brain-dead kids has the audacity to go, hey, does anyone have a rowboat or a jet ski or anything? Because on that ship is like $1 billion and it's just drifting away. And no one's gonna go to the shit. We're just gonna let it. Okay, all right. And it's just like, oh my dear God, everyone in this movie is so criminally stupid. I really, and I was a husky kid. I was a big kid, not a big surprise. And I hated the fat kid in that movie. I hated Chunk. I hated him, and I hated that his parents show up to get him on the beach with a fucking large pizza.
But did you hate Horace and
No,
Monster Squad?
I liked him very much. Okay. Monster Squad I was totally down with, but the Goonies, the only way
Monster Squad I was a little too old for, but I came to appreciate it later.
So was I. I enjoyed it when it first came out, but I wasn't quite. That movie didn't have its audience yet when it came out. It was like it was too scary for the young kids.
Hmm.
and it wasn't cool enough for the hip teenagers either. Now that movie would have a new audience, but
I did get one Star Wars poster signed by Drew, and that was my original Revenge of the Jedi poster.
ooh, nice. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Wow.
Yeah, I had to I think I had like 6 posters signed by him, and they were all full size one sheets. And I think he was charging like $100 a signature. So I
Yeah.
threw down, and now
Yeah.
I'm great. Now I'm grateful I did.
Yeah, no shit. I mean,
But
that guy illustrated our childhoods.
yeah, I really want an original Drew.
God, I can't imagine how much those would cost.
I know.
I can't
Especially
even
now. Like
yeah.
I saw that Big Trouble one sheet.
Ooh.
The art went up recently, and it went for over 6 figures.
Jesus, I can't imagine what like the Thing would go for.
Oh my God, the Thing would probably go for half a million.
Or maybe even more. That's become one of his signature pieces.
Yeah.
And
I wonder who has it. You know, somebody owns it.
Well, he had it for the longest time. Yeah, because I remember he would do interviews in his shop, and the painting was right there and behind him, like almost all the time. That one and Back to the Future, I think, are the ones that are like the quintessential Drew Struzan and Raiders of the Lost Ark, and well, actually, Amsel did the one that I always remember, but like you know, Last Crusade, the Star Wars, you know, all those. God, I mean, he was. Every movie in the '80s that I loved seemed to have a Drew Struzan artwork attached to it.
Yeah, the one movie I was in had Drew Struzan art.
That's right. That's right.
Tales of Halloween.
Yes, yes.
Which was not it was not a very good poster. I hate to say it.
Really, you didn't think it was very good?
I thought the regular one sheet was far better than the one Drew drew.
So. Well, not everybody's 100%, you know, all the time.
But it was weird. That wasn't the theatrical poster. It was one that he did that ended up. They did it like as a special thing, and he did a signing with when we all did the signing at Dark Delicacies, and he signed the posters. And I was like, I remember, oh dude, the special Drew Struzan poster. Yeah. And I'm like, no way. And I saw him like, oh, this is
this is it.
This is okay. Like, but
he that's the problem with anything, you know. When you know, like when an old band gets back together to do something new, it's just like, yeah, but you got a hell of a legacy you're competing against, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think he did it as a favor, and I think it was a quick job. Mm-hmm. It looked like it not his. If you were to say, who do you think
you would never guess Drew?
I would have never guessed him.
Yeah, okay.
Never in a million years. It did not look like his style at all.
The one thing about his Goonies art I find interesting is learning lately he did versions where the kids were in a different order on the rope, depending on who they wanted to emphasize in the marketing campaign, apparently. So it's like, well, that's cool. There's something nice with that movie. I never could get into that picture. That was one of the big disappointments for me as a kid. Was like, God, I hate these kids. It's like the only way this movie would have worked for me is if one of the kids died at every challenge that they hit. And so it would have been like, okay, that's fine.
Quite frankly, I really didn't like anything Corey Feldman was in. He was tolerable in Lost Boys because he was playing like a real character. He wasn't playing that normal Feldman character.
Right. I liked him in Gremlins. I thought he was fine in Gremlins for what he, you know.
I'm not a big Gremlins fan either.
Oh, I love I love the second one the most.
I found him obnoxious in Friday 13th Part 4 as well. So, I mean, and the Burbs, he had this
a persona,
fake quality.
Yeah.
He in the Burbs, it was really standing out. Or like Dream a Little Dream, where it's basically him being him.
Right.
He thinks he's awesome and he's not. And that's what's annoying about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've never met him. He's done some really great interviews for me, though. I'll tell you that.
Dude, the guy is not. I'm not a fan. Let's just say that. Having dealt with him at conventions,
I did have dinner with Corey Haim and his mother once at a convention.
Very, very good. I repped him. I mean,
he seemed like a nice guy.
I had dinner with his mom 2 years ago in Toronto. We went to her apartment when I was there filming. I went by and we had dinner at her apartment. Yeah, I'm still in touch with Judy. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
she's the best. She's great.
No, she seemed very nice, very protective of him, and this was
And that's
after he.
another thing. Since I repped Haim and I was friends with Haim, I'm very team Haim.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and and then when you hear all the stories from Judy about Feldman, it really makes you dislike him even more. So,
what do you make of that whole Charlie Sheen business?
I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I just feel like Feldman's all about attention. So.
Yeah.
And if it did happen, I'm sorry, but it's like the boy that cried wolf. I don't believe anything the guy says. So.
Yeah. I just remember that it was, I think, a Horror Hound, and we were just sitting at a table, and Haim and his mother and some other people, and Andrew Barniarski came up and was drunk and slammed his hand on the table and scared the shit out of everybody. And I was just like, thanks, buddy.
There's another winner.
Yeah. Haven't seen him. I think he burned.
How is he still alive? That's what
I don't. There's some people, but it's like, man, you'd burned the candle at both ends and then blew it up. How are you still here?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't. I think you and I have both encountered people in this industry where it's just like, yeah. How is it some of the best people I've ever known are gone and you're still here?
I will say this about Sheen. When I've met him, he's always been super cool.
I met him once. Yeah. Nice guy. I liked him. Look, what I like about him is that he has the ability to look back at himself and go, yeah, I really fucked up.
Yeah.
He cops to his mistakes. He cops to his bad behavior. He doesn't try to deny it or excuse any of it. Not that it does excuse it, but it's refreshing to see someone who isn't out there trying to justify all his bullshit,
Yeah, it's one thing that's interesting about the convention world is just seeing the complete train wrecks that are out there.
Oh God.
From Bernarski to Tony Moran to, I mean, there's so, I mean, I'm not going to say who it was but I heard a story about a convention that was last weekend where two cast members got into a fist fight during a photo op and cops were called and everything. So not my place to tell the story, but I'm sure I'm actually shocked it really hasn't gotten out.
This is the first I've heard of this. I'm surprised that there was. I mean, because usually stuff like that happens at shows goes viral immediately. Oh, Tony Moran.
Oh, somebody got it.
Which one?
Was that the Return of the Living Dead one? Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And now that I know that's the show, I can imagine, I think I might know at least who one of the people was. But, oh my God.
It's funny, as I immediately called the two people. So somebody told me it happened. I said, I bet you it's this person and this person. Yeah. And they were the two. So. Yeah, so it's definitely, if you know that cast, you know who it was.
Right. Yeah, there's some rebel rousers, some people who get under some skins for sure.
Yeah. And one was a woman and one was a man.
Yeah, I know who the woman was. You didn't have to tell me one was a woman.
Okay. Well, I anyway.
Although there's probably two that could have qualified, but I can. Yeah, that's something. Oh man. Well, we could sit here for 18 hours and talk about all this shit. There's so many different things, but I really appreciate you coming on just to, again, watching your video about Westminster Mall just brought back a lot of stuff. And it was interesting to me that, again, it's just like you were essentially right down the street. You really weren't that far from me at all. And again, I'm sure that there were times where you and I were in Tower Records at the same time, or at the Westminster Mall, or one of the movie theaters. I mean, there's just, the odds are in, I think, pretty good favor that you and I cross paths without knowing it many times.
Yeah, very possible.
Yeah, and the fact that you remember that Teacher Supply store on Beach Boulevard cracks me up.
Only because the stickers, man, the scratch and sniff stickers. It's just so funny that was such a big deal when you were a kid in elementary school, getting those. When you got like an A+, you got one of those stickers.
Or a sticker or something like that.
And you couldn't buy them. And it was like, you couldn't buy them anywhere. And
No.
somehow I found out they sold them at a teacher supply store.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there, and it was like, oh, there was a wall of them.
Right, right. And it was a tiny little place. It wasn't that big.
Yeah.
But I'll always remember the front of that because you would see it. It's like, oh man, okay. I wonder if my teacher goes there. And I think a lot of them did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I need to go grab some dinner before it gets too late.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me tonight, and I look forward to your upcoming video. I want to see your childhood tour for damn sure, because there's probably gonna be a few other places where I go. I know where that is.
You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it for sure.
Oh, cool, man. All right, have a good night, and thank you everyone for tuning in, and for all of you watching this later. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you figure out what fucking movies those were on that marquee, let us know, please. It's gonna drive us nuts.
All right, see you guys.
Bye. Oh, that was fun. Well, thank you guys very much. And we will see you on the next stream or whatever. That sounds gross, doesn't it? The next stream. The next broadcast. That's better. Yeah, that's